It is 10:01. Good morning from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. On Tuesday afternoon, Mike Tomlin stepped down as the head coach of the Steelers after a 19-year run, during which he never had a losing season. Adam Schefter reported Tomlin is not expected to coach in the NFL in 2026. Meanwhile, the Titans will conduct a virtual interview today with Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith for the head coaching job. College hoops, number 24 Tennessee survived in double OT, beating Texas A&M at home 87-82. Freshman Nate Ament tied a career high 23 points. And the Nashville Predators won in overtime over the Oilers at home 4-3. Roman Josi, the game winner in the extra period. The Preds have won 9 of their last 13 and are 5th in the Central. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Good morning. So what, about 10 minutes, 15 minutes after we wrapped up yesterday, Mike Tomlin stepped down from the Steelers. So it's almost been 24 hours since you've had that news to chew on and to consume, but it's an interesting wrinkle in the middle of this coaching carousel that continues to roll on. Will the Giants allow John Harbaugh to leave today without a contract? There is many indications, there are many indications that the Giants will do everything in their power and have already expedited their hiring or their interview process so that they can hire John Harbaugh today before he even gets the opportunity to interview in person in Atlanta or Tennessee. We'll dive into both of those things throughout the course of the show. 615-737-1045 is the number. Robert, Lucas, me with you until 1 o'clock. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch is where you can interact with the show. We were all in a meeting when the Tomlin news broke, and I would say that we were all reasonably surprised because it wasn't a firing, and it wasn't one of these situations where there feels like there's bad blood between Mike Tomlin or he feels like he's being forced out. He decided to step away, which means that if you want to have Mike Tomlin be your next head coach, it's like the Gronk thing from New England and Tampa Bay a couple of years ago. You got to trade for him. You can't just hire Mike Tomlin. You have to trade the Steelers for his rights with 1 year left on his deal, which is a fascinating part of the coaching carousel. Would we be willing, not I say we, meaning the room, maybe Titans fans can apply that to them. If you're a Dolphins fan, if you're a Cardinals fan, whatever you are as a fan, most of you Titans fans, would you be willing to trade anything at all for Mike Tomlin?
Yes, but I think it's a moot point. Adam Schefter reporting that he is not expected to coach anywhere in 2026.
Sure, but I mean, that means that he's going to coach somewhere in 2027.
But wouldn't his contract be up?
That's not how that works. They retain his rights. They have the rights to Mike Tomlin. He cannot be hired by another organization for as long as they have his rights. It's not like just an expiration of the contract thing. The contract just doesn't go away. It's the same thing as Gronk. And there was another example of this a couple of years ago, a player that retired theoretically to move on from their organization. It wasn't Brady, right? Brady just straight up signed with the Bucs in free agency. There's another example of this out there.
Was it Darren Waller?
Waller, that might be right, actually.
Because I think the Dolphins didn't the Dolphins have to send the Giants something Darren Waller?
I want to say you're correct about that.
Wait, so if he is no longer under contract, if 2026 comes and goes in the NFL, let's say 4 years from now, somebody wants to hire Mike Tomlin. He's not just a coaching free agent?
No. That's not how that works.
The Steelers just wouldn't have to pay him anymore after next year.
So
gotcha.
it's a good deal for both sides, right? Because then Tomlin would be able to theoretically orchestrate where he would want to go, a la Rob Gronkowski with Tampa Bay, and not have to go through the whole hiring process. And, I mean, I don't know, does the Rooney Rule apply to trades? I can't imagine it did. The Broncos didn't have to do any Rooney Rule stuff for Peyton, did they?
Well, I mean, he would satisfy the Rooney Rule.
Sure, I know, but Well, not entirely, right? They have to. It's 2 minority candidates in person.
They'll bring David Shaw in. So if you wanted him,
David Shaw.
if you want him in Tennessee, you'd have to hire a David Culley-esque coach to be your head coach for 1 year and then fire him.
It's been done before. Or a lame duck. Todd Bowles, anyone?
Okay, so this situation expires after the end of the 2027 season.
Because that is the end of his agreement with the team option.
Yeah. Yeah, so that makes sense. Like, that's what I was trying to figure out. It's not like if somebody wants to hire Mike Tomlin in 5 years,
right?
They still have to.
They're just saving $15 million by not having to fire him, right? Because then they would theoretically have to pay him out on his deal. So it's just kind of like everybody's in a holding pattern.
Yeah, the Steelers have his rights until the end of the 2027 season.
But then Mike Tomlin would have to be out for 2 years.
Yes.
And I don't know that Mike Tomlin wants to be out for 2 full seasons.
Which isn't terribly uncommon these days.
If it's been your entire 2 full seasons?
I mean, how long did Sean Payton sit? How long did Mike McCarthy sit?
McCarthy a year.
Was McCarthy only a year between Green Bay and Dallas?
McCarthy did a year between Green Bay and Dallas, and then a year between Dallas and whatever his next job was going to be.
Did Doug Peterson only do a year?
Did Doug Peterson...
Between Philly and Jacksonville? Because he definitely sat out. No, McCarthy did 2 years.
Between Dallas and Green Bay, or Green Bay and Dallas?
Oh, no, he did 1. Yeah, he only sat out the 2019 season.
I'm sure there are different examples. Doug Peterson, I don't remember exactly before he became a head coach. Was he might have been on a staff somewhere.
Yeah, no, he only sat out in 2021. No, he didn't do anything in 2021.
I think it's pretty rare. Like, Mike McCoy was out for almost 3 seasons, right? But that's not because Mike McCoy decided he wanted to, let the world happen around him. Mike McCoy just wasn't hired for 3 seasons. Until he was brought in here in a consulting role for the Tennessee Titans.
Okay, but that does make sense. Like, it would not make sense for the Steelers to still have the rights to Mike Tomlin after his contract is up. That would make 0 sense.
Yeah, but that's how it is for players. Like, if a player retires while their contract is still going on, that team would maintain their rights even through their contract.
Until after the end of the contract?
That's the way I have always understood it.
That doesn't seem to make any sense to me.
Like, how long did Gronk sit?
That was also my understanding, Robert, but there might be different. The problem is there's different rules for coaches than there are for the players because the coaches don't have a union. So there's no NFLPA overseeing these kind of things on behalf of the coaches, which I think is something that the coaches prefer. To not have to unionize. Anyway.
And similar to the Sean Payton, a lot of Steelers fans are like, oh, we can get a first-round pick for Tomlin. Why would Tomlin agree to go somewhere if they have to give away their biggest asset for him to go there? Like, I think he would decline that trade unless it was lower compensation. So it wouldn't handicap him in years going forward.
Anyway, I personally would not trade draft compensation for Mike Tomlin in this specific situation, like the Tennessee Titans situation. And it's not relevant because I don't think that Mike Borgonzi is the type to hire a David Culley, do this for a year with Cam Ward on a rookie deal. And I think they're looking for something more long-term stability, which would be Tomlin, but not until at the earliest 2027 at this point in time. So as far as all that goes, how is Mike Tomlin going to be remembered in Pittsburgh? Because I think he is somebody who is viewed very favorably, but his lack of success for it's almost the bulk of his career at this point in time where it regards hitting the ceiling in the playoffs. It's like he's obviously more accomplished than, say, Matt LaFleur. Who else is getting this right now? Where they're making it to the playoffs, but they're just banging their head on the wall essentially when they get to the playoffs. That's kind of been the Steelers' experience because it's not that they just make it to the playoffs and they lose close games. They make it to the playoffs, they get their teeth kicked in.
For the last 5 years, they've gotten dusted in the playoffs.
It's not, he has not covered himself in glory as a difference maker on the sidelines other than he's a really cool guy. He's obviously somebody who is respected by his teams.
They haven't been a contender in about a decade.
Right. So,
like a legit Super Bowl contender.
So who's another example of a coach like this who makes it to the playoffs all the time? There's probably not that many examples of this, but he's kind of Matt LaFleur with better PR right now. At this stage of his career.
He'll be remembered as a legend.
No, of course. And he is. I want to make sure that I'm clear on that. He is a legend. But the latter half of his career would indicate that he is not making a difference as far as, you can do what you want in the regular season, but then you make it to the playoffs and you have no shot. Like, they have no shot in these games.
Yeah, but I think with time, the more time goes by after an era ends, a successful era, no matter how it ends, how it peters out, any sort of purgatory you were in for a number of years, the more time goes by, the more the heights of that era is how that era is remembered, right? Save for some exceptions, right? If you ended in scandal or something. But like Mike McCarthy finished with 2 straight losing seasons to cap his run in Green Bay. They got close. Their whole thing was making the NFC Championship and losing with Aaron Rodgers. But they wanted Mike McCarthy out of there. Mike McCarthy has a street named after him in Green Bay. He's a legend in Green Bay. No, Mike Tomlin will be nothing but a legend in Pittsburgh for the rest of his life.
I'm sure they have a tremendous amount of respect for him, and I'm sure they're happy that he's gone. Both things can be true.
Yeah.
You know, so this is an interesting question by somebody on the YouTube chat. What would Tomlin's stock look like after a year off? Because I see another comment right above it from Tyler, who writes, I hate the idea of trading picks for a coach in general. It depends on the coach and it depends on the situation. Like the Sean Payton thing makes a difference. It makes a huge difference. They are the number 1 seed in the AFC. They are vying for Super Bowl contention. We'll see if rest versus rust applies to the Broncos in the same way that it seems to just be a death sentence in the college football playoff with that first round bye. But there's no question that Sean Payton makes a difference in Denver.
Dang, Sean Payton also was only off for 1 year. I could have sworn he was off for more than 1 season.
It's very, very uncommon that you would be off for multiple seasons by your own choice, right? That somebody would not want you, that the offers and the money and the opportunities. And also, this is all these dudes know. Like, this is their entire life, basically. How long? Mike Tomlin has basically been a coach or in coaching since he was playing. It's been his entire existence.
Well, if he's not coaching, everybody will expect him to be on TV, right? Like, I think one or the other
is outrageous. There's no way, like, you can't in good conscience say no to, I don't know, what does one of those studio jobs go for right now? $20 million a year if you're Mike Tomlin?
Probably more than what Mike Tomlin was making.
No, I'm certain he's getting a raise. Brady got one.
Nick Saban got a raise by going to College Game Day.
Sure as hell.
So the Steelers looked for their 4th head coach since 1969.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing.
Aggregate good thing. But I do think there's plenty of Steelers fans. Like, I listen to John Ledyard's podcast. Robert, I know you hate him, but he does really good.
God, I hate that guy.
But he's really good. He's really good.
He's a whiny, excuse-making baby for
Not
the Steelers.
when it comes to the Steelers. He said that he doesn't trust them to get this right.
Oh, good. I love that guy. Always trusted his analysis.
But, like, think about this. Think about this through the context of, because I understand why your initial reaction would be, no, that's a good thing. But if you are, it feels like their hand, Pittsburgh, is kind of being forced on this. Like, would they have fired Mike Tomlin? It doesn't seem like they would have fired Mike Tomlin. So there's a scenario in which Mike Tomlin just continues to be the Steelers coach and the Steelers don't adapt.
I see what you're saying.
Significant way. I'm not saying it's a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just saying it's not like that kind of longevity is not as good as we might inherently think it is.
Sure, but it is because they've won 6 Super Bowls in that time. So I get what you're saying.
How many Super Bowls have they won in the last 2 decades?
Oh, yeah, not since 2008. Not since 2008.
The 6 Super Bowls, it's very much in every aspect of the NFL. It's what have you done for me lately? And I know we're all just kind of chasing the powers that be at the top of the AFC. If you're an AFC team or AFC fan or somebody who covers a team in the AFC, like everybody's just kind of looking up at the top and saying, all right, is it just going to take Mahomes tearing his ACL for everybody else to have a shot and Lamar having a bad back for everybody else to have a shot at this thing? And even then, Josh Allen is a wild card trying to fight his way through Jacksonville and all these different things. They are a very interesting case study in this coaching cycle because who the hell are they going to hire? And is that a good job? Because it does not, there is mystique, rightfully so. 6 Super Bowl championships, one of the most stable organizations in sports. But is that mystique enough for a young coach to look around and be like, yeah, but I don't have a quarterback, and my offensive line's really bad?
What is the more guy after the guy job, pressure-wise, Baltimore or Pittsburgh? Like, state of the roster aside, you know what I mean? Just straight up. Like, the way...
Because if you're firing Tomlin for just making it to the playoffs but not winning in the playoffs, you immediately come in, win.
Yeah.
Win a playoff game.
I know that a lot of other things have been cited around John Harbaugh, but that also has kind of been the case with Harbaugh, too.
Oh, sure.
Like, who's more of a legend in that respective franchise?
I think both have equal
Pretty
standing.
equal.
I can't imagine that they are not looked at almost exactly the same.
Yeah, probably. Almost 2 decades, 1 Super Bowl.
Are you asking which job has more pressure initially?
Yeah.
I think it's the Steelers, no?
I would say Baltimore because the Steelers are farther away from competing.
Yeah.
Because the Steelers were competing because of Mike Tomlin's tenure.
Yeah.
They don't have a quarterback. They have an aging roster.
Oh, interesting. So you think that Steelers fans would be okay with taking a step back to take 2 steps forward?
I don't think Steelers fans would be, but I think the NFL as a whole would be. I think they would understand if someone new had the reins. But I think Baltimore, despite failing to get into the playoffs this year, have higher aspirations going into next year with a new head coach than the Steelers would.
Very much in a window.
Because who's the Steelers quarterback? We don't know.
No idea.
No
Howard?
idea.
Will Howard, right. Or are you going to pay Malik? Would that inspire a lot of confidence?
Don't you laugh at that, man. He whipped your ass.
Yes, he did.
Will Howard is not to be trifled with, at least as a college quarterback. 615-737-1045 is the number if you would like to participate. William is in Knoxville.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, guys. So I just had a quick question regarding Mike Tomlin. I just wanted to know your thoughts with the Browns needing a coach, and then also tied up in Deshaun Watson. Same thing with Atlanta. They need a coach tied up in Kirk Cousins. Would them trading for Mike Tomlin be an ideal situation? That way, one, they could dump off some of that money with him, and then also be able to take him in on trade?
No, I don't think Atlanta is in a position to do that. They don't have a first-round pick. They gave it to the Rams. I don't think Cleveland is in a position to give away assets. They have a quarterback with an $80 million cap hit on their roster. They need as much draft picks as humanly possible. Thanks for the call.
You disappointed him.
Sounded very disappointed.
The Browns do have the Jags' first-round pick, which would be in the late 20s, or maybe 22, 23. I haven't looked at Tankathon in a while.
Jags are not in as definitive a situation as... Or excuse me, Browns are not in as definitive a situation as Atlanta is. Atlanta needs above average quarterback play. I mean, I don't know. Do you need above average quarterback play in the NFC South to win it? Or can you just kind of get by with Kirk Cousins?
I don't know. Tyler Shuck looked pretty good as being like an average quarterback, wheeling them into it at the end of the season. So I would say no.
Have ended up being the best team in the division by the end of it. It was just too late.
I mean, the one team that does have who I would argue is the best quarterback in that division didn't make the playoffs in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So
Jason makes a great point on the F&M Big Chat. The fact that everyone in the AFC North is looking for a new head coach except the team that has wasted back-to-back seasons with Joe Burrow. Just insane.
And honestly, wouldn't they be the best job if they came available?
Oh, by a mile. But that's the thing. There is no scenario in which Cincinnati is going to pay to fire a coach. That is the only reason why Zach Taylor has job security, is that it would cost, I don't know, I assume Zach Taylor got an extension after the Super Bowl, and most extensions on average with NFL head coaches are 4 years. So there is no scenario in which cheap-ass Mike Brown is going to fire Zach Taylor and eat somewhere between $15 and $18 million, depending on where he slots among tenured NFL head coaches, just to go out there and pay another coach more money. The Bengals are a mess.
He is under contract until 2027. So he bought himself 2 more years.
Everybody point and laugh at a Bengals fan today.
Him and Duke Tobin.
Woof. 615-737-1045 is the number. Adam Sparks of the Knoxville News Sentinel. Next. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Been a while since we've had Adam Sparks, the Knoxville News Sentinel, on, but the portal madness rolls on. I imagine that creates a great deal of stress in your life. What it must have been like to be a beat reporter for a college football program when you were covering Vanderbilt, Adam, in the days before the transfer portal versus now what the hell this job has become. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you well? I feel like I have to do a wellness check on you every time we talk to you.
Well, I mean, I feel like so I've written. We do what we call pre-writes, right? Where you write a guy that you think that Tennessee may pick up in the portal, or you write a story about a guy that you think is going into the portal. You write those. You have them on hold for when that happens, and then 80% of the time it doesn't happen. So I've got 40 stories that are never going to be published. It's sort of like in the newspaper business. You write obits, and that person that dies doesn't know that their story was written about their death 10 years earlier. They'll never read it. But that's sort of what it is. But yeah, it's crazy. And I will say I've written fewer quarterback pre-writes this time than I did when Nico left.
Sure.
It wasn't as wide open this time, but still have not published any of those, of course.
We should call those the Sparks files. Release the files.
Notes, dude.
The Spark Notes. Spark Notes was right there for you.
You're so much better at this than me.
Right there for you.
We should call it the Spark File.
Unbelievable. Adam Sparks, the Knoxville News Sentinel, with us on 104.5 The Zone. At Adam Sparks is where you follow him. So how fraught is this quarterback situation actually? Because Lucas is wringing his hands with every Sam Levitt update that doesn't involve the University of Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, there's a faction of the fan base that think this is a blessing in disguise. I mean, there were a lot of fans that were pretty irritated when Tennessee started looking in the portal for a veteran quarterback because they said, hey, you've got a 5-star coming in, you've got a high 4-star in George McIntyre that's a year in that they think one of those guys should pan out, and there's a reasonable argument for that. And it looks like that's probably what they're going to be left with. I mean, the portal closes at the end of Friday, and if a guy's not in there, then that's a viable option. Then that's it. They're just going to move forward with those two guys, and probably somewhere here add a third guy as sort of a depth piece, maybe an option. I mean, I'm sure they would like to get a veteran guy who's played some. And then hopefully one of those two young guys can win it out in spring practice. But yeah, I mean, they're sort of tapped out. If you look at, like I know 24/7 does a good job of ranking the portal quarterbacks. And if you look at the top 25 in there, 24 are already off the board. And the one guy that's there, Husan Longstreet out of USC, is not an option for Tennessee because he's a 5-star coming off his freshman year, which, again, they already have two of those guys. So they don't need another. So unless a guy hops in the portal by the end of Friday, they're going with George McIntyre and Faison Brandon.
We've gotten a lot of that too, Adam. Tennessee fans just pulling their hair out about, quarterbacks aren't going to want to come to Tennessee if you keep going into the portal. But my stance on it has always been if Josh Heupel, if this staff thought that either of those two guys were ready to lead Tennessee to the playoff in 2026, which is the goal, there's pressure there, then that's probably the route they would have gone instead of throwing money at Sam Levitt, or at least trying to. If you were to inject Josh Heupel with truth serum, what do you think his answer would be to the question, how comfortable are you with George McIntyre or Faison Brandon starting for you in 2026?
Well, obviously he's not really, really comfortable because he went and tried to get somebody else. I mean, they wanted Sorsby. That never panned out. They went hard after Levitt and then went after him again after Lane Kiffin had stolen him. They couldn't get that done. Bo Perbula, they brought in. I think they were sort of lukewarm on him, and that didn't work out. So they were looking for a quarterback. It's regardless of what Josh Heupel says when this is all over, his actions, his behavior says what he wanted, and what he wanted was a veteran quarterback who could start, and they could wait one more year to decide on the George McIntyre, Faison Brandon question. So. I mean, they like both of them for different reasons, and I think there's some level of confidence in them. There just wasn't a level of confidence in them to start in the opener of 2026. I mean, there's there's pretty good reasons for criticism, I think, of how Tennessee has handled this. You could say I think they were slow in the portal. I think they were not as aggressive as they needed to be. They were perhaps indecisive on what they wanted to do. Now, you could generously say that they had sort of a catch-22 because they only could get, for it to work out how they wanted, they could only get a veteran, proven starter with probably 1 season left of eligibility. That way they could go to Faison and George and say, hey, guys, look, this is one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the country. You understand. We have to have this guy, and it's just for 1 year. So, and so that way because if you brought in just sort of a mediocre option, then they would say, well, we're better than that guy now. But of course, if you've got guys that are good enough to play over a mediocre option, then why are you scared of losing it? I think that was always the thing, that you didn't want to bring in a guy that would tell George McIntyre, we don't think you can do it. And but why is he not ready to do it? That's the second question.
Has Tennessee completely moved on from the idea of Joey Aguilar coming back for another year?
I mean, they're monitoring it. It looks like the courts are going to be pretty sluggish on that. But yeah, I think there was a time when they thought that may work out. I don't think it was ever 50-50. It was more like, hey, 20-30% chance. Let's see if those odds get a little better. And within the last week, I think it's looked like the odds just have not been great. If that happened, then I'm sure they would do a cartwheel over it. Maybe Joey would be back for another year. It just looked like there's not much of any momentum at all in that area.
Defensively, there have been a lot of moves made. The volume has been there. A couple of high-profile transfers. Obviously, a few former Penn State players reuniting with Jim Knowles, the new defensive coordinator. What have you made of their defensive acquisitions and the expectation that will be placed on that defense with Jim Knowles leading the charge after a down 2025 in that regard?
Yeah, I do like what they've done there. It's sort of the opposite approach as quarterback, which Jim Knowles came in, and I think Josh Heupel basically, we can see by the guys he picked up, he basically said, whoever you like, go get them. And if that means that chases somebody out, pushes somebody in the portal, we'll live with it. Because I count probably 7 starters that they have gone and gotten, and that has pushed some promising players at Tennessee into the portal and may push a couple more into the portal before we get to the end of Friday. And that's sort of the way you have to do it. You have to be decisive. If you think the player that you're bringing in is the player that you are better than the player you already have, then you have to pull the trigger and live with the consequences. And it seems like they've done that on the defensive side. Don't know if it's the right decisions or not, but they've certainly done that. It's also interesting, I think, this is sort of a microcosm of college football and the portal, is that a lot of the better programs are bringing in fewer players than they're letting go. So, like, Tennessee has lost, I think it's like 22 scholarship players. They brought in 11, and so you say, well, those are not great numbers, but you're bringing in starters and you're letting like your younger depth pieces go. For example, Tennessee's lost 5 edge rushers. They brought in 2 edge rushers. And you say, well, that's a -3 loss. But if you look at it in terms of guys that will start this year, they lost their 2 best edge rushers, and they brought in what's supposed to be their 2 best edge rushers. And the younger guys that they lost in that transaction, you say, we'll go in the portal next year, and we'll just get 2 more. And so everybody is sort of just making moves for this season and this season only.
He is Adam Sparks of the Knoxville News Sentinel. At Adam Sparks is where you follow along. KnoxNews.com is where you can read all his published work. Perhaps we will, whenever you're done with this job, maybe you release the Spark Notes. Maybe you release the drafts, and we can all laugh at all the things that we thought might happen or that you thought were going to break or all these different things. I imagine that would be quite a ride.
It's the best things I've ever written, I can tell you.
See you, buddy.
We'll see you guys.
That's Adam Sparks with us on 104.5 The Zone.
All right, so George McIntyre or Faison Brandon? Time to battle it out.
How do you feel about that? You don't look inspired.
I'm not necessarily inspired, not because I don't think those guys can be good college quarterbacks, but like we said,
The situation is fraught.
yeah, I think if this staff felt that way, then that's the route they would have gone. They would have went and looked for a backup in the portal and not reportedly thrown $4 to $5 million at Sam Leavitt.
As somebody who enjoys the college coaching carousel, would you enjoy your job being a part of it next year?
It depends how
It's a very
this
premature
year goes.
conversation, but I don't know. This is not lining up very favorably.
We'll
in a
see.
critical year.
Yeah, I mean, the defensive improvement has to be there for Tennessee. Obviously, the only time they've made the playoff under Heupel, the defense has carried the way, and Nico has not been a passenger, but not necessarily been the reason why they've won games. And it'll be fascinating to see just how much drop-off there is offensively with a first-time starter likely playing. I don't know who would be the favorite to win that job. I would probably say McIntyre with the year in the system, but he's got to put on some weight, man, and he'll have a chance to do that. That was the same thing with Nico going into his first year as a starter. But it'll be a really interesting test for Josh Heupel and this offensive coaching staff in a year that is going to be filled with pressure and filled with roadblocks along the way with what is a tough 2026 schedule.
We're going to do headlines, NFL headlines, later in the show. Robert, you are fighting, or it seems you have rallied the chat to your side against one commenter who thinks the Ravens owner gave a bad press conference yesterday.
Yeah, I just didn't understand what his point was. I didn't understand what was bad about it. I thought Steve Bisciotti was honest and gave clarity on the decision to move off Harbaugh and to move forward. But again, I'm a Ravens fan. So, but also to that point, I don't think a lot of fans like what their owners have to say.
No, very rarely do you come away with favorable feelings from an owner's press conference. I mean, think about how much worse Saints fans felt after Gail Benson basically said, why would I do anything about Mickey Loomis? He's going to get the franchise when I die. Yep. I mean, not exactly, but
I mean, the Colts end of season presser was odd.
Oh, I didn't see it.
There were a lot of comments made about she just seemed so uncomfortable in that setting. It just kind of
no longer the belle of the ball. Ask Amy. It's not a pleasant experience.
Like, just her body language was kind of odd. And then Woody Johnson put his foot in his mouth a few months ago. Yeah,
perpetually.
99% of the time when owners speak, people come away pretty angry.
Yeah, Steve Bisciotti's actually good at this. Like, Steve Bisciotti, whatever you think of Jerry Jones, Bob Kraft, like, there is competency among owners. It's pretty few and far between. So when one dumb person says something, well, not one dumb person, let me say this. When one person says something dumb in the comments, doesn't mean that he is dumb. But we will talk more about the Ravens' end-of-season press conference later in the show, because there are some interesting things from Steve Bisciotti that are worth talking about if you are a Titans fan who wants the opportunity to hire John Harbaugh. I don't even know if you're going to get that opportunity based on the stuff coming out of New York. We'll see. Are they going to let him out of the building? He's in New York to interview in person today. SEC observations are next. Nothing worse than a plumbing, HVAC, or electrical emergency. Most of the time, you don't know what it will cost or if it'll get fixed correctly, or if someone is just trying to sell you something. When you call Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, their experts are going to solve your problems quickly. The price you're told is the price you'll actually pay. There's no hidden fees or surprises on your bill. Hiller has been in business for over 35 years and is family-owned and operated. Their techs are professional, experienced, and trustworthy. When they're on their way, you'll receive a photo of the tech and a link to track them in real time. No more wasting time waiting around. 100% satisfaction guaranteed of happy you'll be, or the service is free. That is the Happy Hiller promise. So book online today at happyhiller.com.
All right, 3 games in the footprint last night. Plenty more to come tonight. Some good ones. Tennessee survived Texas A&M at home, a double overtime victory as the Vols. It felt like neither team wanted to win this game. Multiple chances to win for both sides in regulation. In the first overtime, the second overtime, Tennessee gets it done 87-82. They improved to 12-5, 2-2 in SEC play. And it feels like we watched freshman Nate Ament grow up a little bit with 10 points in the 2 overtime periods, tying a career-high 23 points, and coming up in some big moments for Tennessee. A couple of assists, 7 rebounds, a couple of blocks, and Tennessee just survives despite doing a lot of the things that have let them down all year. 19 turnovers. They're coming off a game against Florida where they were blown out in the swamp with 18 turnovers. Tennessee was in double-digit giveaways before halftime. Very sloppy first half. 5-second violations, fouling 3-point shooters, just not doing things that lead to wins. Untimely misses at the free throw line, but the Vols in the end just kind of outlasted A&M, who went a little cold from 3, which is their entire game with Bucky McMillan, 13-43, A&M from 3. Tennessee not good from beyond the arc, 6 of 24, but they find a way to muck up the game just enough to drag A&M into the mud enough to come away with a win. And this is a team that we're just watching grow up before our very eyes. Nate Ament is flashing that sort of potential that makes him a first-round NBA draft prospect where at any given moment, he can win any matchup that's put in front of him. But it's just this slightly frustrating thing that it's almost like he doesn't know that at times. But he figured it out a little bit in overtime, and we'll see how much of a springboard it is for Rick Barnes' team.
I will acknowledge I did not watch the majority of this game because Indiana was playing Michigan State, of which they lost, which was very
Football
humbling.
school.
Yeah, it's a stark reminder every time I get excited about watching my basketball team, and then they go to Michigan State and they put up a fight, and then they lose by 10. So,
well,
also, I think it's fair, the criticisms that are being provided of you in the chat. Well, one criticism. Why are we even wasting our time talking about the Vols basketball team when the team down the road hasn't even lost a game?
And that brings me to my next point.
But what did you lead with?
The game that happened last night before the game that hasn't happened yet.
Convenient.
Which is Vanderbilt.
Convenient.
Number 10 Vanderbilt at 16-0. 1 win away from breaking a program record for the best start in school history. If they beat Texas at the Moody Center in Austin tonight, Vandy, 5.5-point favorites in that game. Texas, slow start to SEC play. They will be 17-0 for the first time in program history. They are currently the highest ranked team in the SEC. By the way, not to ignore Vandy women's basketball, who is 17-0 and is the number 5 team in the country right now. It is South Carolina, Texas, and Vanderbilt at the top of women's college basketball in the top 5, LSU number 6. Vanderbilt with a strong argument. It's early. We're halfway through January, but to this point, Vanderbilt, men's/women's, the best basketball program in the country this season. And there's a lot of season left to go, but they've got a chance to make some history on the road at Texas, and I think they're going to do it. They play with this edge like they're supposed to win. It's kind of like what we talk about with Curt Cignetti. Curt Cignetti does not treat Indiana like they're these pesky little underdogs. They treat Indiana. He speaks as though he communicates to his team and to the outside world as though, what do you mean? Well, that's what we were supposed to do. That's what we prepared for. That's what we expected to do. Vanderbilt expects to win games. I expect them to win tonight. It's an 8 p.m. tip on ESPN2. That team is a wagon right now with Mark Byington leading the charge.
Can you name the other 3 undefeated basketball teams right now in men's college hoops? Either of you?
Arizona?
Yes. They are currently ranked 2.
Okay. Oh, Arizona, Vandy. You said there's 3 outside of Vandy?
Yes, there are 4 total undefeated college basketball teams. One of them is the MAC. In the MAC.
Nice.
Miami of Ohio.
Yes.
Nice.
Good pull by you.
Sorry, I was over there making a thumbnail.
It's all right.
What's the other one?
Is it Michigan? Is Michigan still undefeated?
Michigan lost to Wisconsin after barely squeaking by Penn State.
And Iowa State lost last night.
Yes, they did. That was their first loss of the season.
Is it
Nebraska?
It's Nebraska. They just beat Indiana. It made me very sad. It's really the only way to hurt me.
Tennessee, Kentucky Saturday.
How do we feel about that? Because
Early
Kentucky
game.
is If Tennessee football is currently experiencing some level of friction between the fan base and the coach moving forward, times that by 10.
Oh, yeah.
With the University of Kentucky. The honeymoon is basically over after the first couple of weeks of the season. And it doesn't seem to matter to Kentucky fans that they have had injuries and that they've had not their full complement of talent available to them for large chunks of the early part of the season. They are a bad basketball team. And again, they beat Indiana, which makes me upset because Indiana had like 16 turnovers in the second half of that game and lost at Rupp Arena. But I watched them, and I'm like, I hate them even more because they're not good, and they beat them anyway.
Yeah, they are still, despite missing those key pieces, they're still playing below the talent level that's on the floor.
By a mile. It's a $22 million roster.
Yeah. Mark Pope had some comments in the preseason about, we've built a Ferrari here. We just got to figure out how to drive it, right? And now here they are, 10-6, 1-2 start to SEC play, going into Knoxville.
That's Mike Norvell, Florida State vibes, if I'm being honest.
Sure. If you're a Kentucky fan, you should be dissatisfied. At Tennessee, 11 a.m. tip-off Saturday at Thompson Bowling Arena. Obviously, you can hear the Vol Network call right here on The Zone. Tennessee will be expected to take care of business in that game. Vandy, by the way, is back home Saturday hosting the defending champs in the Florida Gators in what should be a highly competitive game. Arkansas is really good.
We
Alabama
never talked
is
about
really
Florida
good.
Just
Dusting Tennessee.
Belt to ass against Tennessee.
Yeah. No, it was not competitive. Florida pulled away midway through the first half, never looked back. Again, Tennessee is they're having these issues that Tennessee fans are not accustomed to in the Rick Barnes era in the regular season because there's been so much roster continuity in the Barnes era. Guys, there's always that guy that opposing fans are like, what? How is he still around? Who is that guy now, by the way? Who's that guy in college hoops? That when your team plays him, you're like, how is this guy still eligible?
It was Fran McCaffrey forever. Oh, you're talking about players.
Yeah, players.
Oh.
Because Tennessee, led college basketball in players that I'm sure opposing fan bases are like,
Ziegler.
How is the Kai Ziegler, Josiah Jordan-James, Santiago Vescovi, these guys are still around?
What's the dude from Kingsport's name?
John Fulkerson.
Fulkerson was there for a decade.
I don't know the last time we saw this much turnover on a Rick Barnes team.
Who is that Ohio State point guard that I hated? Aaron Craft. Aaron Craft will always define this.
That was Perry Ellis for me.
Of a player to me, yes.
That was always Perry Ellis.
It's a good question because there's so much movement year over year that I don't know that we have those circumstances. I'm sure that they will still happen maybe once in a blue moon, but I don't think there's quite the frequency that we see. Also, Tennessee does have some defections year over year to the transfer portal, but for the most part, they keep their people.
Yeah, so that's been a unique year in the Barnes era, and Tennessee fans are just hoping that this team can peak at the right time. And they survived last night, got a chance to smack Kentucky, get another win against the Cats on Saturday, but this team's still figuring things out. They got to clean up the turnovers. Have got to figure out how to stop giving the ball away.
You got to beat Kentucky at home, if for no other reason, to have some positive momentum before you go at Alabama.
Yes, Bama started off horrendously last night against Mississippi State. Looked like they were going to be run out of the building, and they battle back, end up getting the win. That is a loaded roster as well.
615-737-1045. That's how you jump in at any point. Robert.
Yes.
What do I have to give away?
Tickets to a band I've never heard of. Are you guys fans of Bush?
The president?
Which one?
It is just tickets to go see Bush. If you guys will stall, I'll try to find their most popular song that has a clean edition on YouTube.
Weren't they just, there was just a commercial running, I feel like.
Like a Live Nation commercial.
Yeah, okay.
Glycerin? Isn't that a song?
Glycerin?
Glycerin? Nitro? Don't we know this song? Hang on, let me see if it's clean. Hold on, everybody hold on, because I need to know if this is just a cover band with all George Bush's singing songs.
How do our prizes drop from Chris Stapleton at Nissan Stadium to Bush?
There are multiple people driving around right now that are just fuming at the way we are denigrating Bush.
No, surely not.
We are Bush. One of the least liked presidents.
Lay out. Turn it up.
I liked his version better.
If you'd have...
This is teenage angst. Is this grunge? I assume this would be grunge.
If you'd have blind tested that on me, I would have said it's like Foo Fighters or something like that.
Sounds nothing like Foo Fighters.
Anything with a guitar sounds like Foo Fighters to me. I don't know, man.
That's
weapons of mass destruction.
Uncultured swine.
Someone
don't
threw a shoe
actually
at me.
exist.
I was reading a book to children.
Oh, wait. That's as close to a 9/11 joke as I think you can be comfortable making on the air.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to go any farther than that.
615-737-1045 is the number. The dumbest thing in sports this week. If you want to go to the Bush concert, 615-737-1045. Tell us the dumbest thing in sports this week. We'll give you ours coming up next. You've got one life, and it's too short for not nows, maybe laters, and tomorrows. If you're noticing issues with ED or performance, then your relationships, your confidence, and even your career has probably already been affected. Online folks promise convenience and discretion, but their treatments are generic and some even unsafe. Guys, no more excuses. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is the state's first men's health-focused urology practice. Multiple urologists and providers focused solely on male performance. No unproven snake oil or peptides without solid research. Since 2014, they've pioneered men's health in Tennessee and have been testing and growing to make sure you get the best care and the safest, most effective treatments. Call 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090 right now, or book online in under 30 seconds at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
It is 11:01. Good morning from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. On Tuesday afternoon, Mike Tomlin stepped down as the head coach of the Steelers following a 19-year run during which he never had a losing season. Adam Schefter reported Tomlin is not expected to coach in the NFL in 2026. Meanwhile, the Titans will conduct a virtual interview today with Steelers OC Arthur Smith, former Titans offensive coordinator, for the head coaching job. College basketball, number 24 Tennessee survived in double overtime, beating Texas A&M 87-82. Freshman Nate Ament tied a career high with 23 points. And the Nashville Predators won in overtime over the Oilers at home 4-3. Roman Josi with the game winner in the extra period. The Preds have won 9 of their last 13. For all of your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Well, all right, so we know this one collectively between the three of us.
Yeah.
The prize today is a pair of tickets to see an upcoming Bush concert. Now, we are being excoriated both by the chat and by people like Ben Jones, who have texted us collectively and saying that we're just too young to appreciate the full catalog, the full oeuvre of the band Bush. So I guess, do we make apologies? How does this work? Either way, 615-737-1045 is the number. If you call in and tell us the dumbest thing in sports this week, you get those tickets to see the Bush concert. I almost said the Bush show, but that feels borderline. Anyway.
From London.
Lovely. Have you seen the conspiracy theories that were started on one conspiracy theory was sent to us by Ross, who is the resident show conspiracy theorist, about the Niners and the injury issues that the electromagnetic frequencies from the power plant next door to their facility are causing.
Yes.
Not that conspiracy theory, but this conspiracy theory alleging that Indiana football is cheating. Have you seen these in the college football message board world?
Yes, because
I feel like this would be on your algorithm of all people.
Georgia, they are alleging that Georgia Southern played you so closely because they do not have the same technology that other P4 schools have. Therefore, you couldn't cheat against them.
Did Georgia Southern play IU closely?
I can't remember what it was, but I think it was last year, 2 years ago.
I couldn't tell you. But there are conspiracy theories being alleged about Indiana football because they're beating everybody's ass so badly. And I find it hilarious that Indiana football has reached a place in their competitive timeline where you are now comfortable accusing what was the losingest program in the history of college football of cheating because they are now so good. It delights me. It is something Ricky on YouTube, who I believe is a Vanderbilt fan, says they are indeed cheating. I would like you to show me the evidence of how they are cheating instead of just beating you all into a pulp. It is delightful. Kurt Cignetti is a god. Fernando Mendoza is a goof, but he's also a god, and they're just coming for all your stuff. Miami is currently a touchdown favorite at home in the national championship because Indiana football is just all of a sudden that good.
Enjoy OU, not Georgia Southern. That was a mistake on my part.
Yeah, season opener, they only beat Old Dominion by 13.
Ah, yes.
That's the evidence.
Yes, that is the evidence that's being cited as to how Indiana football has somehow cheated against Ohio State, Alabama, and Oregon.
They also escaped Iowa by 5 points.
Yeah, but they
lest
did
we forget.
At Iowa.
Yes.
Which, by the way, they have not won at Iowa. I think it's between them and the basketball team who has the longer streak of losing at Iowa. Iowa has been their kryptonite.
Enjoy it before Kurt Cignetti heads home to Pittsburgh, where he's from.
What? Oh, Steelers?
Yeah, there's a pretty big job open up there.
That would be another dumbest thing in sports. Have you seen people alleging they would trade Mike Tomlin, T.J. Watt for the number 1 overall pick, sign Kurt Cignetti, and draft Fernando Mendoza?
Boom. There you go.
Somebody makes this comment on YouTube. He says, if getting old MFers is cheating, then I want to cheat too. They're just older than every other team in the playoffs. Yeah. Turns out, look at Carson Beck. Experience matters.
Yeah, it is inexplicable what is happening, but I do not think cheating is the reason. My dumbest thing in sports this week is the San Jose Earthquakes, the MLS club over on the West Coast. Nashville SC just signed Christian Espinoza, former San Jose winger, who has been one of the best wingers in Major League Soccer for the last few years. Huge signing for Nashville, who's pushing for another trophy this year. And he hit free agency, which was a bit of a surprise. The signing kind of came out of nowhere because he was not expected to hit free agency. Well, U.S. men's national team legend Landon Donovan, former San Jose Earthquake, explained on his podcast with Tim Howard just how it came to be that Christian Espinoza hit free agency.
Big news, Christian Espinoza. I think he is one of the most underrated players in the league. He was with the Earthquakes for a long time, went to Nashville as a free agent. Very interesting there. And by the way, the story with San Jose is wild. I want to stress this. This was not Bruce Arena who did this, but someone who was running the technical side before literally just forgot that they had to trigger his option, or at least triggered the option to trigger the option. And so all of a sudden he became a free agent. I mean, you talk about fireable offenses.
What?
This is unacceptable. And so he became a free agent. And I know they tried hard to keep him and re-sign him, but in the end he said, all right, well, I guess you didn't want me, so I'm going to go to Nashville. And makes Nashville really good because he's a really good player, Tim.
Yeah, I love that.
That's a little outro to
Transition.
their clips.
Every time
Unfiltered.
someone makes a point,
No.
It's got a ring to it.
I hate that.
Unfiltered Soccer is the name of the podcast. And
You're kidding me.
yes, so that is how Christian Espinoza, the Argentinian winger, hit free agency and ends up in Nashville. Somebody forgot to push a button basically in San Jose.
Elvis Doomerville, fax game.
I mean, it's just ridiculous.
It's like one of their best players.
This is like when players cross the goal line, but they fumble before they cross the goal line. How does this keep happening?
How does one trigger an option? What do you have to do to trigger? Is there a button?
I mean,
I don't know. Ask Buck. He tends to have more options than the two of us. So, how do you like to trigger your options?
What?
You have multiple options.
What did you just try to say?
Trigger most of your options.
You said that so poorly that I lost what you were trying to say.
Well, when I talk to you in the breaks, you don't listen to me either. So, you missed my great pig joke during the break.
I wasn't listening.
It was a great joke.
Damn it.
Seriously, what action has to take place for an option to be triggered?
I assume that you just have to get in contact with the representation of the player, be like, yeah, we'd like to pick up his option.
Is it like declaring bankruptcy? You just have to say it? We trigger his option.
No, I mean, I'm sure there's a DocuSign or something like that. Like, sign here if you would like to select this player's option by X date.
A clerical error.
What?
For what has been one of the worst franchises in Major League Soccer for quite some time now, so not terribly surprising, was Nashville's gain.
My dumbest thing in sports. We've already had an argument about this in the F&M Bank chat earlier today, but Steve Bisciotti and Eric DaCosta had a press conference yesterday talking about the firing of John Harbaugh and the pursuit of the next Ravens head coach. And this quote by Steve Bisciotti is being taken out of context by Twitter aggregators who would like to make it seem like he is a power-hungry owner and no one else gets a say but him.
How much of a say will Lamar have in the head coach selection?
A lot of say, but he has no power. I have the power. They have opinions, and I want them all. I care about my players very much, but I can't give them power.
Which was the correct answer.
That is absolute.
It's exactly what he should have said.
So people are upset about that?
People are upset that he seems like, I'm going to make the hire.
Mike Borgonzi just said the same thing about Cam. In fact, you could argue that Borgonzi's thing was more inflammatory because he says Cam says too much sometimes.
And very often I think we look at owners like just these big rich people on high hills living in mansions and we don't know what they do. But for people unfamiliar how Steve Bisciotti made his money, he started Allegis. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but it is the U.S.'s largest staffing firm. And he became successful because of his ability to hire high executives to high-level businesses. So I trust his ability to interview and hire and select someone despite him not having a background in football. I trust him. So that's my dumbest thing in sports.
Okay, very good. 615-737-1045. What is the dumbest thing in sports? Remember, to stay on hold after you've given your submission so that Robert can get back in touch with you if you do, in fact, win these tickets. Tim is in Murfreesboro.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
First off, Bush is a good group.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Well, my dumbest thing in sports is these play-by-play callers from Wild Card Weekend. They are a jinx. For example, the Jacksonville Buffalo game. They sat there and talked up Cam Little's field goal being perfect on 50 yards over on not missing a field goal. What did he do? He missed it. Wide left. So this goes out to the sports commentators. Shut the hell up during the game.
Yeah, Lucas.
The game.
More like Jinxonville, am I right?
Yes, yeah.
No.
Thanks, Tim.
No.
Stay on hold for your chance to win.
No.
I think Tim's the winner.
I don't want you guys to be able to make puns and then play that noise. I don't want that at all. No.
Well, I do disagree with Tim in principle.
Well, yeah, you have to point. It's
Yeah,
like saying
like-
that Cam Ward got hurt because we talked all week long about that he's the only quarterback in the NFL that's made every start. No, Tim, that's nonsense.
I think this is why I could never be a baseball guy. Like the whole no-hitter thing. No, you can't mention it. You get, but it's
What?
happening.
That's a thing?
No, you can't even say the word.
Shut
like,
up.
Yes.
Like the play-by-play people? I know if you're on the team or on the bench or whatever, you're
I
not allowed
have
to talk
friends
about
that will become infuriated
Oh,
if a
baseball.
play-by-play announcer dares mention 8 innings of a no-hitter happening, and then that's the reason why the guy gives up a single or something. Like, yeah, no,
His
I can't
argument
do
was
it.
whilst calling a game for a nationally televised audience, stop talking. Tim, I respect you, but you will not be getting the Bush tickets. All right. Ryan in Brentwood.
Thanks for laughing at my joke, though.
It was a terrible joke.
Hey, guys, how are you?
Well,
Awesome, man. First, Bush, awesome band. Gwen Stefani used to be married to the lead singer way before Blake Shelton. As far as dumbest thing in sports goes, ESPN put out a video of Andrew Whitworth's last game after he won the Super Bowl, talking about retiring, talking to his children, saying how he's going to be a good dad, and then he literally turned around and travels every week the same way he was doing in the NFL for Monday Night Football. So, dumbest thing in sports.
Oh, man.
Thanks, guys.
that's pretty good. No.
Oh, you made Tim hang up.
Well, yeah, it was dumb.
No.
His call was dumber than his point.
No, I would have picked Tim. I would have voted for Tim.
It's because he sounds like you.
That's
I do it after
messed
your
up, man.
jokes, too.
Going after Andrew Whitworth. Don't worry, kids. Daddy will be home. Daddy will be home
in
every
production
week.
meetings every week on the road.
Later.
Just kidding. Me and Ryan Fitzpatrick are going to go on an RV around the country.
And arguably a worse travel schedule than he had as a player because he is on the road every week.
Don't worry.
Off to Seattle. See you, kids.
Damn, that's a really good submission by Ryan and
That's
Brentwood.
messed up, man.
Daddy loves you. Just kidding.
Bye.
You're in charge now, son. You're the man of the house. He's like a baby in a crib. Goo goo gaga.
God almighty. All right, Brady is in Murfreesboro.
Hey, guys, not to beat a dead horse, but one of the dumbest things is you guys not knowing who Bush is. Well, the dumbest thing in sports would be the fact that we got Indiana football alumni that claims to have never gone to the game while he went to his college career, but yet now he is defending them, and just got to learn a little bit of explanation. Love you, Bert.
I love you too, buddy.
No tickets for you.
Yeah.
You forget that you're that the person you're antagonizing controls the phones. Congratulations, Ryan and Brentwood. You're going to see Bush. Suck it, nerd.
He had a good submission.
He did have a good
He would have
submission.
won anyway.
No, I would have picked Tim. I would have picked Tim.
He
Wait, he hung up. Hold on, mystery vortex.
Oh, nobody wants Bush tickets.
Nobody wants the tickets.
Oh, this band. Oh, Bush is so
we're
good.
so dumb for not knowing who Bush is, except nobody wants these stinky tickets.
All right, you guys pick a line that I haven't screened yet. Oh, first
They
one's
keep hanging
The
up.
guy on line 2 wins. Congratulations. You're going to go see some Bush.
I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone.
It's time for NFL headlines with Lucas Panzica.
So we know by now Mike Tomlin is out. He has stepped down as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. There are now 9 head coach openings in the NFL. Tomlin's run 19 seasons, 193 and 114 in that span. 1 Super Bowl, but as we know, 7 consecutive postseason losses. Pittsburgh has not won a game in the playoffs since the 2016 season when they reached the AFC Championship game. So, Mike Tomlin, reportedly, according to Brooke Pryor, multiple reports on ESPN. Pryor, by the way, the ESPN reporter in Pittsburgh. Tomlin will not coach in 2026. And now the Steelers look for his replacement. Brooke Pryor, Jeremy Fowler, and Dan Graziano teamed up on a piece for ESPN just covering every aspect of this. Mike Tomlin's future, what does the future hold for Aaron Rodgers, the Steelers quarterback situation, and who the Steelers could target at head coach. Here's what they write. This is an all-hands-on-deck, drop-everything job for any and all candidates.
Stop it.
The Steelers have had 3 head coaches since 1969. Uncanny stability for the modern era. The championship tradition, coupled with the chance for real tenure, will make Pittsburgh the best job available. The Steelers will prioritize leadership, most likely, and as they did with Tomlin, they could identify a rising star in the business. So they name a few defensive coordinators that fit that mold, including Rams DC Chris Shula, Packers DC Jeff Hafley, Chargers DC Jesse Minter. I add, the Titans have requested or have talked to all 3 of those. I don't know that, have they conducted interviews with any of those 3?
Name them again?
Hafley, Minter, Shula.
I don't believe so.
Okay. Notre Dame's Marcus Freeman has rebuffed NFL intrigue, but could revisit that for a job like this. The Steelers would be smart to modernize the offense, looking hard at that side of the ball, so several young offensive play callers could come into play. That's from Jeremy Fowler and company at ESPN.
Okay. I laugh because you remember, was it just yesterday when we were talking about why the Titans keep coming up with Harbaugh? And in these national reports, and I said, well, it's the job of the Titans to make themselves seem as attractive as either of these jobs and to sell as hard as humanly possible on the attractiveness of their job. And that is something that they should be doing. That's shameless by Pittsburgh. Like, you gotta really, really. You ever seen that South Park episode where are they in San Francisco where it's just a bunch of people smelling their own farts?
Yes.
That's what that Pittsburgh Steelers reporting reads to me. Like, you haven't been that in so long.
Well,
you are not the drop everything type of job that you seem to want to show everybody that you are. You are an attractive franchise. You are a stable franchise. Those things, you do have attractive qualities. I'm not denying any of that. But please, this is not the no doubt, surefire, drop everything you're doing, reconsider your position about being the head coach of Notre Dame job. You don't have a quarterback. What are you talking about?
Okay, educate me on this. Like, I understand the messaging that comes from teams in these situations.
Of course.
But why does it benefit Jeremy Fowler and company to say that the championship tradition, coupled with the chance for real tenure, makes it the best job available?
Information exchange. It's the same thing that I felt about Adam Schefter citing basically a list of Titans bullet point propaganda on his podcast about all the nice things about the Titans job and how wonderful Amy Adams Strunk is. Like, respectfully, I'm not down on it, and I'm not, like, bitter about it or anything like that, but that's the way that game works at the national level. You do people favors so that, in turn, you can have a situation where you have the inside track on who the coaching hire is going to be. And again, that's how it works. I'm not, like, mad at them about that. I'm not mad at Jeremy Fowler or Brooke Pryor or anybody like that for taking something, I'm assuming, something that a representative or a high up person with the Steelers told to them, putting it in print, because there are some of those things that are true. But again, it's the over-the-top stuff.
Yeah, best job available.
Crazy.
Seems odd. I have a hard time with that. Where would you rank it? 9 jobs.
Pretty low, if I'm being honest. Like, the stability of ownership does matter. If I'm going to ding the Titans for that, then I shouldn't,
Yeah, I was going to say. That is a factor here.
But it's not like my thing with the Titans is Amy is not an owner based on her operating principles in the last couple of years that I would trust if I was an incoming coach. Now, you can say you trust Mike Borgonzi. You can say you can trust Chad Brinker, and that's enough. You can say you like Cam Ward, cap space, Jeff Simmons, all the things that we've cited, and you can ultimately say, all right, one thing on the con side of things about the Titans job. It's a big thing, but it's one thing versus, let's say, 4 or 5 meaningfully important things to the success of a football team. And you can say, well, the good outweighs the bad, or even just push. Like, to me, the stability of ownership does not outweigh the uphill battle that you'll have to do with the Steelers. Where they're picking 21st, 22nd.
It's in the 20s.
So you will have to be in a situation that requires stability from ownership, because the Steelers are a longer play than the Titans are.
There's some talent there. It is the path to getting your quarterback feels tough.
Who's the most promising young player on that roster?
Oh gosh,
They've got a number of defensive linemen that they drafted in this previous draft that could end up being somebody. But Y.A. Black out of Iowa was great this year. Derek Harmon, their first-round pick out of Oregon, was good. They got Jack Sawyer out of Ohio State. Their middle linebacker out of NC State, his name escapes me. They've done a really good job about drafting on the defensive side, and they have a number of offensive linemen that they've picked up in the middle. They have a bunch of average to slightly above average players they've drafted. Their issue is they haven't drafted enough stars to complement their drafting.
And they haven't been in position. Like, they haven't found, like, the steals of these drafts because they're perpetually picking in the 20s, high to mid-20s.
Marciano mentions Joey Porter.
Joey Porter's a good one.
DK Metcalf.
How old is DK?
Under contract.
DK is expensive and aging.
He will be 29 next December.
DK Metcalf
is 36 years old.
Okay, but DK Metcalf does not fit. Like, DK Metcalf and what? Adam Thielen is out there catching meaningful passes in a playoff game.
Yeah, but, like, DK Metcalf's a good player. I'm just saying. He's going to be 28
one of these
all
promising young. He's already on his second deal. He's not. That's not the category that I'm putting DK Metcalf in. That's not an organically drafted piece that's cost-effective that will allow you to build around. You have to work around DK Metcalf's contract.
So they've drafted 3/5 of their entire starting offensive line in the 2024 draft. So they've got rookie years left on a couple of these guys, if you want to look at that. But, I mean, the point remains the same.
It's just slightly above the Cleveland job for me. So if I'm ranking, where did I have Cleveland? I think I had Cleveland, like, I don't know, 6 out of the 8 possible. So I'd say the Steelers are the 6th best job below the Titans, the Raiders, the Falcons, and the Ravens.
I'd put them higher than 6, but to say best job is crazy. Yeah, just no bones about it. Slam dunk, best job available.
That's how I know that screams propaganda. Kind of again, I'm not down on the reporters for using sources within the building. That's what you have to do. But that is get out of here.
Sorry, one last point on this. It also feels disingenuous to say, like, oh, they're a patient organization. They have been patient because the last 2 head coaches they've hired have been really, really good, really, really early.
Yeah.
Will they have that same patience 2 years in if this new coach fails to go to the playoffs or fails to go above 500? I don't think so.
And again, the Ledyard point of all of this, and we don't have to spend, much more time on this because I know we've spent half the segment already, but, like, what Ledyard is saying, I really do believe to be true as somebody who does football analysis for a living but is also a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. We don't know that they would have fired Mike Tomlin. They could have just sat there stuck in their ways, so all of a sudden they're just going to go out there and reinvent the wheel. The Pittsburgh Steelers organization are suddenly going to what's the Scheelhaas guy in Los Angeles that people think is the next up-and-coming brilliant schematic mind? Like, I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have a certain type or seemingly a certain type, would go the young, innovative, fresh-faced route that I think a lot of their fan base would like to see them go if they weren't even willing to fire Mike Tomlin after all of this.
Well, but to be fair, Mike Tomlin was kind of that. I mean, when he was hired, he was this young, who is this guy, defensive coordinator out of Minnesota. It's not like he was this established name.
No, for sure. And the Dolphins, the line from the Dolphins was he was too hip-hop, whatever that means, for racially charged. Yeah. As that language was 19 years ago when Mike Tomlin was available to be hired, and they were flying Jeff Fisher in on helicopters.
I mean, it's a legacy job, so to speak, right? Like we talk about with the Giants, the prestige of being the coach of the Giants. That's absolutely a factor with the Steelers. Stability with ownership. Obviously, some talented pieces on the roster, both young and aging, but the path to getting your quarterback is tough. The Aaron Rodgers thing hovers over all of it. Meanwhile, the Titans are talking to Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith today. obviously former Titans assistant for a long time, OC under Mike Vrabel, former Falcons head coach. How would Titans fans feel
Thielen just announced his retirement, for what it's worth.
Good for Adam Thielen. How would Titans fans feel about Art Smith being a legitimate candidate here?
Legitimate as in, like, they're interviewing him or like a finalist? I don't think they'd be happy to have Art as a finalist. I don't think anybody. In fact, I think that's, you know what I think is most likely, which I think would delight Robert? What if the Steelers do the thing where they just promote Arthur? I think Steelers fans would riot.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. They're just not in this position very often. So
anyway.
Well, for you to bring that up, I do have audio from Steelers owner talking about potentially moving with Arthur Smith to be the head coach.
I just love how everybody tells me that owners never talk, and all of these owners give press conferences at the end of the year when they fire their coach. Anyway.
Currently on Mike's staff being a candidate for his replacement, or is the idea maybe to start fresh with somebody outside the building?
Right now I don't think that anybody on our staff is a candidate. Maybe a candidate to stay on the staff, depending on what the new head coach wants to do, but probably not as a head coach.
Oh, okay.
But Art Smith, I do think it has to be said, not gotten a great deal when it comes to the quarterbacks he's been handed since he left his time in Tennessee.
No, and I'm not down on Arthur. Again, I don't think like people. He's like a different version of the Matt Nagy conversation, except he doesn't have a coach of the year. Does Arthur even have a winning record as a head coach? Like in a season?
They kind of just hovered around 500 every year.
I feel
he was
like
there.
They were perpetually like 7-10.
Yeah, but again, with 7-10 all 3 years, which is
really?
insane. But again, with Desmond Ridder at quarterback, who is no longer in the league.
Sure. So let me say this. I don't think just because a head coach has failed in his first job means that he will be a failure elsewhere. It's a different version of the Nagy conversation. In fact, Arthur is less accomplished. I mean, Desmond Ridder is worse than Mitch Trubisky.
The Packers did sign him to their practice squad on New Year's Eve.
Ridder?
Yeah.
For what?
They replaced another quarterback they had to just give him another active.
Because Malik was kind of in question?
Maybe Toon is who.
Yeah, Clayton Toon
brought
is
him
who
in
got
for.
released, yes.
Yeah, so
I don't think it's like a no way thing. I just think I think that Titans fans, and you can correct me if I'm wrong about this because you have far more direct connection to Titans fandom than I obviously do. I think that Titans fans want to be inspired by their head coaching hire. Like, I think they need a reason to believe, even if it is really just a name. Like, I think that's why the Gruden thing comes up as often as it does, because it's just something to get you excited.
Sure, which is why I think that's an overrated concept to begin with, right? If it's not John Harbaugh, there is no name that's just going to unify the entire fan base. Just go get the coach that Borgonzi thinks has the best plan for this franchise in the place it's currently in.
But I think that they are more, and again, you can correct me if you feel that I'm wrong on this, but just based on the dialogue that I see on a daily basis, hourly basis, minute by minute basis from Titans fans, I think that if they don't hire somebody who does rally the fan base that way, that there will be some level of dialogue about turning on Borgonzi. Fair or not?
Maybe the vocal minority. That seems a little extreme.
I'm just saying, this place is down bad for a long time. They did. You made this point to me the other day, and I think it was during a commercial break. But, like, the Titans have never been, like, this kind of awful. Like, Browns, Jets, awful.
Like, consistently, yeah.
Consistently.
They've had dips. Like, the Whisenhunt era was a dip.
Yeah.
Fisher did not have a lot of bottoming out seasons.
No, they have never been a bottom-of-the-basement franchise until this most recent run of 4 seasons where they have made themselves into a laughingstock. They have to do something that is going to make people care about them, and I don't think that it should just be cosmetic. I think they should hire the best coach for the job, but I do think that there's a portion of the fans that feel that way.
Yeah, sure. But, then the discourse is the discourse, and then we get to playing the actual games, and the actual evaluation can start. I don't think that holds a ton of water in terms of, any weight that it actually carries.
Well, I don't know. Do you not think that Pittsburgh fans have something to do with the fact that Mike Tomlin's stepping down? I think that there is something to it. The Titans took I don't want to make this a Titan segment, but the Titans took the biggest dip in attendance of any NFL team in the last couple of years. There's several articles reporting how bad how much their attendance alone dragged down the average NFL attendance this year from front office sports.
I do want to hear from Ravens owner Steve Bisciotti talking yesterday, Robert. Was this yesterday?
Yeah, that's correct.
So in real time, here is Steve Bisciotti finding out about Mike Tomlin stepping down from the Pittsburgh job and even being asked about the notion of Tomlin going to Baltimore.
At Pittsburgh.
He did? Is it official?
That's what I keep hearing. So, is he a candidate here?
Holy shit, Mike, wouldn't that be awesome? Only if John takes the Pittsburgh job. Wow, wouldn't that be interesting?
I love the way he says Pittsburgh.
I don't know, that thing last week maybe disqualified him for my opening after our kicker missed a kick to let them advance. Good for Mike. Yeah, I don't know. Talk to him. I love Mike. I mean, I've admired Mike for 18 years, and that's really shocking.
Every time I hear a Steve Bisciotti clip, Robert, I was incorrect about this because I felt like he gives like a state of the team address. Maybe that's Harbaugh and the general manager that do that on a regular basis, which is far more common. Robert told me that the last time Steve Bisciotti took questions from the media was like 2017 when they put DaCosta in place.
Mm-hmm.
But every time I hear this man speak, I like him more. Like I think that is the kind of press conference that any NFL fan would want because it's just honest. He's just being honest. Did you see the clip, the thing that he said about John Harbaugh? Would John Harbaugh have still had a job
If Tyler Lute made the field goal?
If Tyler Lute made the field goal, what did he say, Robert?
For a week.
For another week. That's as honest and bare bones as you can get.
I got to get the audio. Him saying
so
it
good.
is literally like something from Sopranos. Like, Tony, do you think we could have kept... I almost said the guy that got killed on the boat's name. But here, let me try to find it real quick.
Oh, yeah, it was refreshing. That is a guy that just is so comfortable in that setting, just shooting the you-know-what with reporters. You just don't see that very often, just period, ever.
Yeah, but in
any sport.
But think about this, okay? And this is it doesn't have to be a longer conversation, but I do think it's an interesting dynamic. Robert, what'd you say his background is?
He has like the largest hiring for or largest staffing firm in the U.S.
So fair to expect that he was like ground floor building up this business.
Yes.
Having to deal with people on a granular level.
Yeah, he started it with like $3,400 back in 1986.
You can tell the owners, Jerry Jones, Steve Bisciotti, who, had to build something en route to becoming the kind of wealthy that then allows you to have, basically just basic interpersonal skills versus, and there's many NFL owners who just inherit their organization. Some do well with it, some don't. But I think that there's a disconnect between like billionaires who still have common man connections and the people who sit in these ivory towers and, deliver statements.
The fact that he said that he just wants to own the team for like another 15 years and then sell it.
He's like, I've watched this tear families apart. He's like, I just want to potentially get a Super Bowl and then sell this thing. But here was Steve being asked if John Harbaugh would still have his job if Tyler Lute made that kick against the Steelers.
If Tyler Lute makes that field goal, is John Harbaugh still here coaching this team?
For a week.
So badass.
He swallows his water for a week. So, yeah, Steve Bisciotti, great. He was great in The Big Lebowski, too. There was a move in Philly that we will talk about coming up next.
See, that deserved the terrible pun sound. Oh, no, he's not ready.
Well, hold on now.
No. It's not worth holding up the shelf for it.
No, do it again. Do it again, Lucas.
Steve Bisciotti. I loved him in The Big Lebowski.
Go. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. So, change does not mean that you have to fire your head coach and clear out your staff top to bottom. But it can also be a sign that the people that you retain are not on terribly stable ground. That's the latest to come out of Philadelphia, where Nick Sirianni is being retained as the Eagles head coach, despite losing at home to a wounded animal San Francisco 49ers team. I don't know, would you say that that was basically the Eagles' offensive performance that we've gotten all year long? It just bit them?
Yeah, pretty much. What they've been.
It's a particularly bad matchup against San Francisco, who can kind of just manifest offense at this point in time. They may not be able to stop you, but if you got a team in Philadelphia that is having trouble scoring and moving the ball, and A.J. Brown has not one of A.J.'s best games, then yeah, that's not the best matchup for Philadelphia. They're the defending Super Bowl champion. They expect to win it every year. I love and respect Eagles fans for it. But the pint of blood, the sacrifice for Eagles fans was not Sirianni, it's Kevin Patullo, who was 1 year the offensive coordinator. For one season, the offensive coordinator of Philadelphia after Kellen Moore left to become the head coach of the Saints, and now he finds himself out of a job after having his home egged during the season because of the thinking of, or because of the way that fans felt about his offense, and being excoriated by, how old would you say that fat little child was that was complaining about the fact that his Christmas present was an Eagles playoff game ticket and that he got a loss for Christmas?
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was delightful.
That was a well-adjusted kid.
Very mature.
I mean, just being like, come on, what are we doing, guys? Dadgummit.
The way he made that burger flipper analogy so seamlessly, and how he brought it back home to Patullo should be flipping burgers because he's like a short order cook. He's cooking in the first half and then he just screws it all up in the second half or something like that. The kid did it better than I did.
Does that make 2 brain drain replacement hires fired, and Kevin Patullo for the New Orleans Saints head coach, and then the Lions fired their offensive coordinator, John Morton, who replaced Ben Johnson?
Yeah, and they took play calling away from him in season. Dan Campbell took it over.
Yes. And also Nick Sirianni is about to hire, I think, his 5th offensive coordinator.
I'm telling you, they don't settle. They just, I can't remember the name of the, they have had 5 how long has Sirianni been there?
21 was his first season. So it was Kellen Moore, obviously, it was Patullo this year, Kellen Moore the year before, Brian Johnson the year before that. Oh, who was it the year before that?
Was it not
Was it Steichen?
Was it? I thought it was Steichen.
Steichen, I think Steichen was his first OC.
22 was Steichen, yes.
Okay.
Yes, so Shane Steichen was the offensive coordinator in 21 and 22. He's the only OC Nick Sirianni has had that lasted more than one season.
615-737-1045 is the number. So does that, I don't know, does that fix Philadelphia's problems? Because what is Kevin Patullo supposed to do about the idea? And I'm not saying that he was not at least somewhat at fault in this situation, but every time I watch Philadelphia, the thing that's most glaring to me with an untrained eye is, their offensive line's not good anymore. Or not as good.
Not as good.
Anymore. So their superpower is no longer a superpower, and that makes everything so much harder on them.
They're going to bounce back. This is what they do. They alternate. Steichen, Brian Johnson, that didn't work. Kellen Moore, that worked. Kevin Patullo, that didn't work. Next one's going to work.
It is such a wishy-washy, unassuming treasure chest. You don't know if it's a mimic or there's treasure inside. It's like you will either get a head coaching job by being a Philadelphia coordinator, or you will be unemployed. And there is no in between.
Right? That has to be the most extreme case of in or career advancement versus just devastating. That has to be one of the worst jobs to be in when things are not going well. And it's not like they had a bad season. They won the division.
Yeah.
They did more than a lot of teams do after making the Super Bowl and winning it. They won the division
for 2 consecutive years.
So I don't know. Do we like Eagles fans? Because I say that I love them because I've never had to sit in the link for a game or something like that. I'm sure I would hate them if I went as an opposing fan to any Philadelphia sporting event ever. I find them delightful, but that's because I got to sit in a press box behind 3 foot of glass.
I think they have done more harm to the fan experience than any other fandom in the NFL.
Expand.
Because of how aggressive they are to other fans, security is heightened, and it is heavily scrutinized to the point of you can't even – I saw clips of it at the Steelers game, the Steelers' final home game against the Ravens, where people are reporting you to security if you stand up during the game. I've talked about my experiences in Baltimore with people behind you can't see. You have to sit down. You're not allowed to stand at the game. And just how viewed you are as a fan and how worried the NFL is and security is that a fight could break out or the optics of going to a game is unsafe. Where in Philly, I will never go to a game in Philly ever because I don't want to be put in a position where I have to either be a big weenie and have someone push me
or defend your honor.
Or defend my honor. I don't want to be put in a position like that.
No, it's fair. I would also say, and just, again, It's got something to do with that, but I also think that because there was heightened security measures everywhere in the league this year, and I think that has a great deal to do with that shooting that happened at the league office. The NFL mandated security protocols for practice facilities in ways that I've never seen before this year too. So I think while I acknowledge that's probably a big part of it, I also think that the shooting had something to do with it.
Well, the OCs that have not worked under Sirianni are the ones that were promoted in-house. Brian Johnson was promoted. Kevin Petula was promoted. He went and got Shane Steichen from the Chargers when he took the head coaching job. Sirianni did. He also went and got Kellen Moore from the Chargers to be his OC. So it'll be interesting to see where they turn. While we're talking about offensive coordinators, interested to see which of these candidates that the Titans are talking to that are more in the category of information gathering mode, potential coordinator candidates, as opposed to legitimate head coaching candidates. Like, is Mike McDaniel, is Brian Daboll a legit head coaching candidate for the Titans? Or is Mike Borgonzi trying to cover all his bases and establish a relationship there that a call can be made to bring one of these guys in as a coordinator?
That's the smart thing that they did with LaFleur.
That's what they did with LaFleur.
Like John Robinson was in for all the bad that and there's plenty of bad in the John Robinson experience, but for all the bad things that John Robinson did in the early part of his tenure, he was instrumental in helping convince both Matt LaFleur and Mike Vrabel that, just because Vrabel beat you out for the head coaching job doesn't mean that you can't coach here for a year and then get the head coaching job wherever, maybe not wherever you want, but he ended up being the Green Bay Packers head coach. It worked out.
It was kind of an arranged marriage, right? It did work out for LaFleur, but, that relationship wasn't exactly glowing, right? And it's not like,
oh, no.
we were all surprised that LaFleur got that job.
No, but, and I saw a lot of, how should I describe the exchanges between Vrabel and LaFleur? I saw
icy.
No, not even icy. Just, Mike browbeating people. But Mike was also doing that to Dean Pease, and that was somebody who Mike talked Dean Pease out of retirement. Like, that was just the Vrabel early first head coaching job experience. I think those people are way more intense, way more set in their ways, way more convicted about how they want things to work in their first couple of years on the job doing it for the first time than they are, now where you can have somebody like Josh McDaniels in the building. Josh McDaniels, is it McDaniels or McDaniel? McDaniels.
Yeah.
Josh McDaniels in the building and it not be fraught and it be in the best interest of everybody involved, even though that guy probably wants to be a head coach again, even though he has no business being a head coach again.
I have the perfect candidate to be this Eagles offensive coordinator next season. If he's only going to be there 1 year anyway, he's either going to get by hook or crook, not be in that position again. Why not go with Cliff Kingsbury? Cliff is exceptional.
In Philadelphia?
His first year.
It makes so much sense.
When he gets to come in and put his new schemes, his new route combos, all his stuff together in Washington and Arizona, oh, look how high-powered this offense is, and then it doesn't change anything year one. If you're going to get a year rental, just go get Cliff for a year.
Dude's great with the running quarterback.
But you know what? Is that the most attractive offensive coordinator job? Because I think them firing your boy, Greg Roman, in Los Angeles, how many people are going to be tantalized by the idea of Justin Herbert, of working with Justin Herbert and what that can then provide them as far as career advancement?
I think the Lions would be up there.
I'd rather have Herbert than Hurts.
Lions would be up there as well just because of their fully stocked stable of potential offensive weapons.
I just think that makes so much more sense for guys like Kingsbury and McDaniel.
They're all attractive to some degree. They're all very talented offenses.
Okay, Mom. They're all very nice.
I just hope they all have fun.
Is that how you feel about Cam Ward and the Rookie of the Year? I hope they all have fun. Find out next.
It is 12:02. Good afternoon from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. Mike Tomlin has stepped down as the head coach of the Steelers after a 19-year run during which he never had a losing season. It was reported Tomlin is not expected to coach in the NFL in 2026. Meanwhile, the Titans today conduct a virtual interview with Steelers offensive coordinator and former Titans assistant Arthur Smith for the head coaching job. College hoops tonight, number 10 Vanderbilt on the road with the chance to set a program record for the best start to a season in program history if they can beat Texas to get to 17-0. Tip-off in Austin is at 8 p.m. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Final hour is upon us on this Wednesday. We're happy to have you. Titans fans, I would ask you this question as we enter in to the final hour of today's show, and perhaps it's a conversation that you can have the rest of the afternoon. Did Cam Ward have a quote-unquote good rookie season? Now, you can follow up that question with a question and say, well, how do you define good? Obviously, their record was not good. But I'm saying in terms of the scope of rookies playing, nobody played as much as Cam played. But as far as rookies who played in their first NFL season in a meaningful way, did Cam Ward, relative to the rest of those rookies, have a good season? You look confused. Why are you confused?
That's just my face.
You never told me in the commercial break the thing that you were going to tell me during the commercial break yesterday when your jaw dropped to the floor. No, that's not true.
He did.
We were laughing at content related to exactly that this morning before the show.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. So did Cam Ward have a good rookie season?
He
told you. Yeah, duh.
You need to go get your cognitive.
Yeah, are you okay?
I'm not having a good day as far as like I have not listened to a thing that either of you have said all day today, and that's normal, but like my focus is terrible today. Robert just got in my ear and told me what it was. I can't say that on there.
By any, regular metric, nothing about the Titans, right? Save for Jeffrey Simmons and Chimere Dike was a good season. I would say he had an about right season for a rookie quarterback dealing with the things he was dealing with.
Was he one of the 6 most impressive rookies who played this season? Because Cam Ward is not eligible to receive votes for the NFL's Rookie of the Year award. Now, there is an AP, and I want to make sure I distinguish between these two. I don't think he's going to win this either. But there is an AP award, just as the NFL MVP is an AP award. The Rookie of the Year, offensive and defensive, in 2 separate categories, is a AP award that will be awarded at NFL Honors. But the NFL also has a sponsored, it's like the Pepsi Zero Rookie of the Year, something like that. And the NFL sent out an email blast yesterday to all of us about the 6 nominees who would be eligible to receive fan votes. And I'm sure there's a contingent that's not just fan votes. But Cam Ward is not one of 6, including 2 quarterbacks, Dart and Shuck, who are eligible to receive votes. There are 5 offensive players. There is 1 defensive player, Carson Schlesinger. I hope I said that correctly. The linebacker for the Browns, who was a stud this year, absolute stud this year, deserving of praise there.
Yeah. He's the slam dunk defensive rookie.
Well, but I had a Vols fan tweet me and say James Pierce had 10.5 sacks in Atlanta.
Very quietly.
And Xavier Watts is an absolute monster at safety for them. So I might hear you on Schlesinger was the best of the defensive rookies, but there is a case to be made that there should be more than one. Like I think what Xavier Watts did this year in Atlanta is more impressive than what Dart did.
Schlesinger is the overwhelming favorite on FanDuel. He is minus 10,000. James Pierce Jr. is plus 1,900.
For
Defensive Rookie of the Year, yes. The other players nominated for the Pepsi Zero Sugar Rookie of the Year, you mentioned Shuck, you mentioned Schlesinger and Jackson Dart, Travion Henderson, Pats running back Ashton Genty, and Panthers receiver Tet McMillan.
Abdul Carter Any guesses on his odds to win Defensive Rookie of the Year after Nate Washington's incredible slam on Twitter?
Alleging not that he was using crack, but that he was displaying the behavior of somebody who uses crack.
Plus 30,000.
That's about where Cam Ward was.
And he was probably the preseason favorite.
Oh, for sure.
Carter.
By a mile. For sure.
He did. He caught on late. He had 3.5 of his 4 sacks in like the last 4 to 5 games of the year.
So I ask this because I do think, and listen, I had some Titans fans push back on me, be like, why are you caping up for Cam Ward now? You were critical of him all year long. Critical does not mean that I'm down on him. I think it's okay to be critical of him. I think that he was one of the 6 best rookies this year. I think that he was better than Dart.
I think he was better than Dart.
On an aggregate sample size, I think he was better than Dart. Now, I don't think that I would make the argument for him over many other people than Dart, but if your cutoff is 2 quarterbacks, Shuck was the best rookie quarterback. I don't think there's any disputing that. I don't know that he'll be the best quarterback long term, but he was the best rookie. Why the hell isn't Cam Dart one of 6?
Cam Dart.
Oh, whatever.
Put the best of both worlds. Put them together.
Would he have Dart's hair, but Cam Ward's escapability in the pocket?
Cam Ward's demeanor and Jackson Dart's
ability to produce funny TikToks,
headbutting ability.
I was going to say, just as long as Cam doesn't get the stubbornness.
Anyway, Cam Ward, I think, was deserving. I'm not saying that he should have been a Rookie of the Year. He was not the best rookie this year. I would make the argument that there are 4 guys who I would consider voting for Rookie of the Year, and none of them are named Cam Ward.
Yeah,
but he's certainly one of the 6 best rookies. He played started all 17 games. He set the rookie single-season passing record for the franchise because of his availability. He was up against it for, I would say, 2/3 of the season. And of the 15 touchdowns, so he had 15 touchdowns, and I believe it's 18. So 16 total touchdowns, 15 passing, 1 rushing. And he has
17. He had that last one in Jacksonville. He had that second.
Did he have 2 rushing touchdowns?
Yeah.
Okay, so 17 total touchdowns against 18 total fumbles and interceptions. He had.
That does not. Is that total fumbles or that's not
total fumbles?
Just lost
he had 11.
Fumbles.
No, he didn't lose 11 fumbles, but he had. I mean, he lost what, 8?
Something like that. 7 interceptions.
Okay, so let's say 18 fumbles and interceptions. He didn't lose all of the fumbles, but he did all of this across a season sample size, and then 8 of those touchdowns against only 1 of those interceptions came since, what, week 14?
Yeah,
what was the Browns game?
Pretty much the last 5 games of the year.
Last 5 games
from December
of the year.
on.
So he played his best football at the end of the year. There is evidence that Cam Ward improved more than any of these other players, where Ted McMillan might have, been good pretty consistently all the way through, I thought. And Ashton Genty played behind a horrendous offensive line and made the best out of a bad situation.
Henderson was excellent.
Henderson was awesome.
All year.
But they kind of held Henderson back because Vrabel kept putting Ramondre Stevenson out there.
And it's a better blocker, better in pass protection, I guess.
If he didn't get hurt in the Ravens game, he would probably have much better odds.
TreVeyon Henderson?
Correct.
Oh. Also, good kick returner. I would put Cam over Dart for sure, but
that's probably it.
How are we not mentioning Chimere Dike? In terms of doing his job, he's first team All-Pro.
All-Pro.
Had an incredible season. And Titans fans have how is Chimere Dike not being brought up for Rookie of the Year? He's obviously not an offensive Rookie of the Year candidate. There's no special teams Rookie of the Year.
This would have been the place to include him.
This would have been it.
If you wanted to include him.
So I was kind of surprised. Were any of these guys first or second team All-Pro? No.
Certainly not. But this is the thing that I think they're both going to be up against their entire career. You didn't. I really would recommend the Kevin Byard Bussin' with the Boys interview to anybody because it's soothing almost to hear Kevin Byard talk. I think just what a leader should sound and look like and all of these things, and now he's winning playoff football games for Chicago, and I'm very happy for him. But he talks about how what was the year, because this is the second year this year that he's led the league in interceptions. And he was I believe he was an All-Pro and a first team, there's not a first team Pro Bowl, but like a no doubt Pro Bowl lock.
Yeah. Yeah, first team All-Pro and a Pro Bowler for the third time in his career.
So
on both ends.
Byard on that podcast talked about how much harder it was because he led the league in interceptions here.
Back in 2017, his second year.
It was the year he had that hat trick of interceptions in that Cleveland game that they didn't. Nobody scored a touchdown in. He was
DeShone
awesome.
Kizer, baby.
He was Titans legend, DeShone Kizer.
Oh, wow, yeah.
He was awesome
He
in
had
that
8
game.
picks that year.
Kevin Byard. So Byard talked about he was a Pro Bowl alternate that year. He had to there were 8 other guys who had to defect from the Pro Bowl for Kevin Byard, who led the league in interceptions, to make the Pro Bowl because he played for the Titans. Jarrell Casey has talked about this. Delaney Walker has talked about this. Now, I don't necessarily agree with Delaney's position that he would be a Hall of Famer if he played somewhere else, which was kind of the assertion that he made. And I don't want to put words in Delaney's mouth. And he obviously has a great amount of love for this place. Like, they all love the place that gave them their most meaningful opportunities in their career. But, this is what you get for playing for the Titans, whether they're good or bad. Because that wasn't a bad Titans team that Kevin Byard couldn't get a Pro Bowl nod on.
What year are you saying he did not get that Pro Bowl nod?
No, he did, but he was like an 8th alternate, 17.
Oh, okay.
The year he led the first year that he led the league in interceptions.
But he was first team All-Pro.
Yes, but he was not. They were talking about the Pro Bowl and what that means financially and the kind of bonuses that you get.
Yeah.
There's just
it's a factor.
It's Cam Ward and Chimere Dike's first experience as, oh no, they're not actually watching you. Nobody will watch you unless you make them watch you. And even then, they'll call you the worst number 1 seed in the history of number 1 seeds and all these different things that people say about the Titans when they have some level of success. And that's, I don't know how you fix that other than just start winning. Win. Yeah. That's just what it is.
That is how you do it.
And even then, I don't know that you get the kind of things that you might get in other places.
Byard hasn't had more than 1 pick in a year since 2022.
That's actually crazy.
He has really taken advantage of this Bears defense and how good they are at taking away the football.
Oh, I'll admit it. I thought he was washed in Philadelphia. I thought he looked old and slow in Philly.
He's 32. He'll be 33 next year, and he's balling, man. And I swear all 7 of his picks have been the most Kevin Byard interceptions ever. The one he had in the regular season finale, who did the Bears play at the end? Was it the Niners, basically, for the 1 seed in the regular season finale? Anyway.
No, not at the end of the season. It would have been the Lions, or it would have been an NFC North team.
Oh, yeah, they ended up losing to the Lions. Maybe I'm thinking of that Niners game that was huge for
It was a fun back and forth, that game.
The last interception he had, just the most right place, right time, Kevin Byard interception ever. If there's a loose ball or a tipped ball in the secondary, KB's going to be there to catch it.
Somebody on YouTube says winning and John Harbaugh may change the narrative on us. Well, why don't we talk about the idea that you may not even get the opportunity to interview John Harbaugh coming up next?
So as the NFL coaching carousel turns and the John Harbaugh sweepstakes continue, welcome back to the show. We are fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. He is currently in New York City meeting with the New York Giants, according to reports. And all eyes are on the former Ravens coach, the number one candidate in this coaching cycle. Now, there are some updates here on the teams that he plans to talk to, but he is in the building with John Mara and company, who we know he has already met with. Buck, can I say on the front end, I feel like you do not want John Harbaugh to end up the coach of the Titans.
Why would I not want John Harbaugh here?
Because at every turn you have told Titans fans that you're not getting John Harbaugh, that all the messaging about the Titans being a good landing spot for John Harbaugh is coming from the Titans. Well, yeah, you don't care about it because if you do care about it, then you'll have to face it.
Well, I'm going to have to face it anyway.
I think it's like a defense mechanism.
I'm literally
right?
sitting on camera and with a microphone in front of my face for 4 hours a day. Where am I hiding from this?
I think it's 615-737-1045 if you agree. I think it's a defense mechanism that you tell folks, guys, you're not getting John Harbaugh. He doesn't want to come to this mess.
No, I didn't say that.
People are saying that the Titans are a good landing spot. That's all coming from the Titans. I feel like you are slightly worried. You'll never admit it, but worried that the Titans will get John Harbaugh.
No, because then I would immediately pivot to I want John Harbaugh on the install, and that's good for business. Like, you don't understand. I need them to be better because we are crushing it with 3-14 consecutive finishes. I would like an actual good football team to talk about, and they consistently pee down their leg. I don't want to have to do this.
Getting very defensive
for the rest of my life.
God, if John Harbaugh was at the install, it's like, well,
we would have to we would have to have security measures against you specifically.
John Harbaugh was supposed to join Buck and Greg on the stage, but he's nowhere to be found, and I've taken him to a bar, and I'm like, so tell me, why did you stick with Daniel Falele at right guard?
You're going to do some deep cut Ravens game. 2013, Pittsburgh, week 6.
Were you? Do you feel like Ray Rice saved your job with that hey diddle diddle Ray Rice up the middle play against the Chargers in 2014?
Ray Rice up the middle. Okay. Do you think it's likely they get John Harbaugh?
I wouldn't say it's likely.
Did you think it was likely they were going to get Mike Borgonzi?
No.
I agree. I also said that I thought it would be insane. I thought that the Mike Borgonzi thing was way more of a long shot because of what a mess they were. Now, again, the context of I had no idea they had a 13-year relationship between he and Chad Brinker and that matters deeply to him. And that ended. And also, number 1 overall pick makes any place, no matter what you think of Vegas or Tennessee or any of these other dysfunctional or places that have been dysfunctional. Doesn't mean that they have to be dysfunctional forever. No, I just genuinely don't. I think if we're talking about Giants, Falcons, Titans, I would put them squarely third.
It's kind of a chicken or the egg thing, right? Are places dysfunctional because they lose, or do they lose because they're dysfunctional, right? It becomes this vicious cycle where losing is what leads to firings, and then bad hirings leads to more firings, and then next thing you know, you fast forward 3 years and you're dysfunctional.
I point to the best example of why and I'm not saying it's easy, okay, to be a functional, stable organization. In fact, I think it's way harder. It's so much easier to lose all of your games than it is to go out there and win. That's why it was crazy to me that they brought back Brian Callahan after the way that 2024 went, because they made losing look so much easier than it already is in the NFL. Do you think that Bill Belichick and Bob Kraft like each other?
No.
No. But how long did Bob Kraft keep that alive? Like, as somebody who could have very easily been petty about it, said no, had some different version of the Steve Bisciotti line, right? Where it's, no, I have the power. You don't have the power. And he, for 2 decades, managed 2 of the biggest egos this sport has ever seen and was third in that equation at every turn until it finally came time to move on from Bill, because Tommy, as he calls him, was gone, and there was no reason to keep, essentially propping Bill up that way. But he made it work. That's good leadership. You eat it. You eat some of the ego that comes with, no, it's my team. I get to do what I want. Whereas this place, at least here recently, she has, and again, this is her right and the right of every NFL owner. You do own this team. It is absolutely your prerogative to make the decisions that you feel are in the best interest of your organization. But do you think that things could have been a little smoother? And again, this is hypothetical. We're not privy to the actual conversations that went on. But we know that Amy and Mike don't get along. Do you think there's a world in which Amy Adams Strunk or any owner who's ever done anything like this could have been more diplomatic in a situation that would have long-term benefited the organization instead of letting the bottom fall out?
Oh, of course, yeah. To say that the Titans are completely faultless for the Titans being what they've been for the last 5 years would be a ridiculous thing to say about any organization.
So I think that with all of those things, that has nothing to do with the Harbaugh other than to say that Amy is the biggest, to me, Amy would be the biggest negative if I was interviewing for head coaching jobs and needing the clarification of, hey, I need you to reorganize your front office again because I don't know who I'm working for here. That was the complaint that coaching agents were submitting to the Titans. And they did it, right? They did it. So I think that she would be the biggest negative to me if I was a potential candidate. I don't think there's any disputing that. Like, what's the bigger negative than Amy Adams Strunk right now?
Yeah, the last 5 years of turnover, for sure. But like I said, I feel like these coaches come in expecting that when they get to implement their plan, they're going to win. And winning wipes that stuff away. Coaches don't get fired when they're winning. They just, yes, Bob Kraft ate it. I'm sure he didn't have a great relationship with Bill at the end. They were winning Super Bowls. So it's like, yeah, how much credit are we giving Bob Kraft for swallowing his ego while his team is still in the midst of a dynasty?
Brother, no. I think you have to give that man a ton of credit.
No, he's a great owner,
obviously. He doesn't feel the need to be out there and parading about. Like Bob Kraft, does social appearances, stuff like that. But there is no Bob Kraft demands to be considered as important as Tom Brady or Bill Belichick in that equation. He was a very good silent partner for the two of them that whole way through. I have tremendous amount of respect for Bob Kraft.
Well, the thing that quells these things is winning. And John Harbaugh will be expected to be a winner wherever he walks into. And he is currently in New York. Albert Breer reporting that he is with the Giants today. He is setting up in-person interviews with the Titans and Falcons. And the expectation is that those will happen over the next 3 days. Breer says Harbaugh could still add more, but that is what is on the schedule for now. So at this point in time, it seems like it's Giants, Titans, Falcons that Harbaugh is actually going to sit down with in person. Out of the 9 jobs, and really for Harbaugh, we're talking about 8 jobs because he just left the Ravens.
Do we think he gets to one or either of those other interviews?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like he's going to be a thorough.
I think he should be.
Yeah,
I think you should take every opportunity to explore your options and not do this whole thing where, they just wouldn't let me out of the building. Like, I don't think that makes sense for him to do. So this was pointed out to me though on the side of the Giants. They have already done, the Giants, both of their in-person minority candidate interviews to satisfy the Rooney Rule. So they could hire John Harbaugh today if they wanted to. And they seem to have streamlined their entire process once John Harbaugh became available to specifically targeting John Harbaugh. And, you go through all the motions. And again, I hate that there are ways to make the Rooney Rule a sham because it's there for a reason. But they seem to have streamlined their process the most, whereas the Titans, I don't know. I don't think it's not, like, I don't think that anything about 19 candidates is disorganized or, maybe you could call it a bit excessive. Like, do you really need to do a fact-finding mission on 19 different people? But I do think that the Giants have put themselves in the driver's seat because of the way that they've orchestrated their process.
By the way, TD is reporting that the Titans currently have Mike McDaniel in their facility.
Oh, yeah, he's interviewing today. There was a bunch of, maybe you didn't see this on Twitter, there's a bunch of people tweeting yesterday about Mike McDaniel being on their flight from Detroit to Nashville.
Oh, I did see that, yeah.
Yesterday.
So the virtual with Art is later today, and I guess McDaniel is in person today.
Yeah.
So, 615-737-1045.
Now,
Eric.
wait.
Go on.
Also, I don't care about what Colin Cowherd said about the Titans. The Rooney Rule for the Titans would be satisfied after they talk to Mike McDaniel today. People forget Mike McDaniel's a minority candidate.
Indeed he is.
So,
do you expect Harbaugh to show up at the Titans and Falcons conversation?
Oh, I have no idea. I hope he does. Because I don't doubt that he has interest here. And if it's listen, I want them to hire John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh by a mile would be the best possible scenario for all of us. Okay? Everybody involved. But I don't know what kind of pressure New York's going to put on the situation and how real that is, and whether okay, so let's talk about this in terms of like what the Steelers are doing and how the Steelers are messaging with their job. Do you think that the Giants and the Steelers, who are two of the oldest organizations in the NFL, two of the most famous organizations in the NFL, do you think they carry the same amount of mystique around their respective jobs? Because the Giants have been doing a lot of losing in the last couple of years.
Like, you're asking to compare the mystique between the two?
I'm just saying, like, does it mean anything that the Giants and the Steelers are two of the oldest, most respected, both families in the NFL circles and organizations? Does that mean anything in this conversation? Does the allure of being a champion coach for the New York Giants,
I would think so,
lure you in so much that you say, yeah, you know what, that flight to Atlanta, that trip to Tennessee, I'm good? Because the Falcons and the Titans are not that.
Oh, not to say, not enough to where I think John Harbaugh is going to be thorough here. Like, I think he's going to have every conversation that he believes is worth having. But yes, I do think there is something to leading the New York Giants back to glory, bringing the Pittsburgh Steelers back to the mountaintop after these years in purgatory. There's absolutely something to that.
I just want to know what that what the weight of that actually is.
For a guy like him, I'd be very curious. Who kind of, I won't say built the Ravens up to be that. The Ravens were that before he took over. But Ravens still, in the grand scheme of things, a very fresh-faced organization in the NFL, right? Starting up in the 90s as opposed to the Giants or the Steelers. I don't know what John Harbaugh prioritizes. I do think back to Pete Golding and something that he said leading into the Miami game in the college football playoff, talking about his messaging to people and how these players that they're up against other schools and recruiting coming in, talking about, all these Heismans and championships we've had in the past. And Pete's like, who cares? None of those people are in that building anymore. What does that matter? Like, we're here to talk about a trajectory. So I don't know where John Harbaugh falls in all of that with his personal, I guess, priorities.
Robert.
Ish.
Where do you want him to go?
John? Wherever he would be happy. I harbor no ill will against John.
No, but you don't want him to do better than you're going to do.
Okay, in the future, if John is pulling a Mike Vrabel and taking another team to be a top seed in their division, I would probably be a little jealous. But I have no ill will towards Harbaugh. If Harbaugh went to the Browns, I would dislike the Browns the same amount, but I would still have a lot of respect for the job that Harbaugh did.
Okay, so you don't know him, but you know of him more than anybody else who's got a microphone in front of their face in Nashville, Tennessee. Where do you think he makes the most sense?
That's tough because, again, maybe I know him the most out of everyone in this room, but I still don't know what's in his heart or in his head.
Sure, none of us do.
Yeah.
I would say John values owners who have been there and done that. And I think that's why the Mara family and the Giants have been his number one option, because they have experience with the Coughlins and who was the other cat that won it for the Giants we talked about earlier? Parcells. They have had legendary coaches in their tenure. They understand what it takes to manage a team, so maybe they would give him expectations that were fair to what the status level or the talent level of the team is. I think he would want to go to the Giants because he would be held accountable, but not his feet held to the fire, if that makes sense. They would give him time to build things in his image and understand if in year one he was unable to take a team to the playoffs like he was with Baltimore and rookie Joe Flacco. I would also love him to go to the NFC, so I don't have to hate him.
Well, that's the other thing. Wait, what do we think of Arthur Blank, the owner of the Atlanta Falcons? He's been to a Super Bowl. He's certainly
been to multiple, right?
He's not Jerry Jones in the sense that Jerry Jones is obviously the most powerful owner in the NFL, but Arthur Blank has a seat at the table.
How long has he owned did he own the Falcons when they played the Broncos in the Super Bowl and they played John Elway?
Well, I don't know that.
He bought them in 2002. So no, yeah, okay. I don't think he did. Dang, so the Falcons started in what, the mid-90s?
Sure.
And so Taylor Smith, the son of the team founder, sold the team not long after the team started. That's unusual.
What do we think of the way that things are run in Atlanta? Because they almost hired Bill Belichick, it sounds like, and apparently the reporting was that Bob Kraft may have called Arthur Blank and talked him out of it. There's a world in which Atlanta is a laughingstock today. More than they already are for 28-3 and all these things.
And I think that that's warranted because while they have made great decisions, trading up for Julio, everyone is saying, you don't trade that much to go up for a wide receiver, having a great draft, but also they've had mockery-worthy moments where they could have traded 2 first-round picks for Lamar during the franchise tag. Oh, no, we're good. We're gonna side with Taylor Heineke or whoever the hell they had then. So I would say they are a middle-of-the-pack NFL team. I would say that they are probably somewhere between 16 and 20th in competency ranking.
So how far away do we think the Titans are from that? Being viewed as that. Again, these are external conversations. To Robert's point, we don't know what John Harbaugh will have an inside track on all of this information, more so than anybody involved. His agent will have an inside track on all of this information, and we'll have better details on which owners you can trust, which owners you can't, what you'll have to work around, how difficult the office politics are in New York if Joe Schoen stays. Do you want Joe Schoen to stay? Do you want Joe Schoen out? How much more complicated does that make it? Like, there's a million different factors about all these jobs. But if Falcons are considered middle of the road, are the Titans significantly behind them? Are they closer to the Falcons and closer to the middle of the road than we might lead ourselves to believe because we're too close to it? I think I look at Mike Borgonzi and say, I trust that guy to do this correctly. I think that him having more control over the situation than anybody else right now, but like more active involvement, more hands-on involvement than anybody else involved gives me great confidence if I was a Titans fan. He's viewed that way league-wide. He has been a part of the kind of stability that you talk about. 16 years in Kansas City, from awful. They were a 2-win team at one point during his tenure in Kansas City. And he was one of the reasons, in part, that they were able to build that thing up into a championship contender and ultimately for Patrick Mahomes to put them over the top. So how far away if the Falcons are, the mean, how far away are the Titans from the mean?
You're talking about the mean as in how they are viewed.
Yeah, like the middle.
1 or 2 winning seasons.
What do you mean?
Away from being viewed as that?
Yeah, I think so.
But not now. But I'm talking about now, as people look at the 3 jobs that we're talking about. And if, I don't know that the Giants are on the high end, but they are on the higher end than the Falcons or the Titans. So Giants, high end, Falcons, middle ground, Titans, low end. What is the gap between the middle ground and the low end here for us to be able to discern, like, all right, is it as bad as it's felt the last couple of years, or are they on the precipice of the uptick here because the actual football people are in charge running the show now?
Yeah, Falcons and Titans are just in such different situations in terms of where they currently are from a roster, personnel standpoint, versus, the Titans, it's a trajectory thing. Like, if you have belief in the Titans moving forward, you have belief in the trajectory of Mike Borgonzi as a GM and Cam Ward as a quarterback and the blank slate that you have with the roster to build around.
Somebody's telling you that the Falcons were an expansion team in 1966.
Yeah, that is so dead wrong by me. They've been around for like 60 years.
I didn't know. It's like, sure.
But Mike's got to do it again, right? Because John Robinson started off pretty hot with his drafting streak and acquisitions as well.
Oh, yeah. Just because you are good at this job for a period of time doesn't mean you're good in perpetuity.
Because there is no bigger dartboard throw than the NFL draft.
Oh,
You can be really, really good at drafting and still have a bad draft class.
Yeah, because you're dealing in human development. You have no idea what these kids are going to turn into.
None of this stuff matters. Just get John Harbaugh in here and bring him to a Hattie B's.
Sure.
That would be great.
You think he's ever had it?
I don't know if John likes it. John does not exactly strike me as someone who likes spicy food.
Well, they have something for everyone.
See, you don't understand. I want John Harbaugh here almost as much as Robert does, because John Harbaugh, do you know who his brother-in-law is?
Tom Crean.
Tom Crean.
Yeah.
I just want to ask him about all the crazy stuff that happened with Tom Crean in that year where they pissed themselves against Syracuse in the Sweet 16. And did Victor Oladipo actually hate Tom Crean?
I'd like to confront him about their family and their naming habits.
Jim, John, Joni.
What are we doing, man?
You've got the same thing going on with the Kubiaks. Clint Klein,
Gary.
No, you would say
it's more egregious with the Harbaughs. Jim, Joni, John.
What's the mom's name?
Jack.
What's the mother's name?
Joni. Or is that the sister?
Joni is the sister. Joni is the wife of Tom Crean.
Is it not Joanne? Is that not his mother's name? But
I swear.
But a stat.
He's going to get so mad if it's a
maybe more
J.
of a fact.
Be serious for 1 second.
Harbaugh's parents do live in Bowling Green. So if he wanted to be closer to his aging parents.
Do they still?
That is my understanding.
What is it?
Jim Harbaugh has sons named Jay, James, Jack, and John.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
Be serious for 1 second.
Look up John's kids. His firstborn, Jehoshaphat.
No. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. I love this song.
You think this is what they play at every family reunion for the Harbaughs?
This is how they name their children.
This is their theme song.
Which one is Jingleheimer Schmidt is the question.
How many are they out of J names?
John.
So Jack married Jacqueline, a.k.a. Jackie.
We are doing the Harbaugh family genealogy if you're just now joining us.
So there's Jack and Jackie. They fall in love.
But what if they had a kid named Gene that they didn't like? He's like it sounds like he's part of the group, but he's not.
No. He's the redheaded stepchild.
Gene, a terrible name for a child.
Jack and Jackie got married, had Jim, John, and Joni. Jim has 7 children. 4 of them, his 4 boys, are named Jay, Jack, John, and James. Now, Jack and John.
Jack, John, and James.
Jack's named after Jack Harbaugh, Jim's dad, and John is obviously named after his brother, John Harbaugh. Jay Harbaugh is the special teams coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks, which I did not know. Jay, Jack, John, and James. So John and Joni had the good sense to, not keep going down that road. Their names do not start with J's.
Okay. What are the names of John Harbaugh's children?
I think John has a daughter named Allison or something.
What is the name of Tom Crean and Joni Harbaugh's children?
Megan, Riley, and Ainsley. Just
very
perfectly
good.
normal, non-J names.
Well, Allison's middle name is Juniper. And if you look at Jay Harbaugh's children, he has a son named Jace and a kid named Jasper.
Are you serious?
Look it up.
I can't tell if he's lying.
Look it up.
He's 36. He's got 2 kids already?
They've, what's wrong with that?
Nothing's wrong with that.
Starting early.
Most people do that.
Yeah, fair enough. That makes sense. I'm 31. I'm 30. I'm like, I'm 2 decades away.
I'm 30. Did you hear what Crystal said to me this morning?
Oh, yeah. Do you have any children or something like that?
No, she said, is your baby here yet? I said, what are you talking about? Like just the idea that she thinks I'm having children struck fear into my heart.
So what?
We would name him Julian.
Did they run out of J names? Julian's a good one.
No, Julian's a terrible name.
Oh, that's a nice name.
No.
Yeah, I like Julian.
No,
I had a mean Julian I went to school with.
Before I had you two, I had a Julian counsel, so I'm forever scarred.
I don't know what that is.
That's a disgruntled Carolina sports talk radio host.
Jonah. Jackson.
Old school. I like it.
Have they gotten
Jackson also
yet?
a terrible name.
We have a Jackson.
Josina Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Jasper.
Juan.
Yeah, Jose. Yeah.
Jesus Harbaugh.
Jacqueline. There's a bunch of them. Oh, there's already a Jacqueline. Isn't one of them?
Jackie. That's the matriarch of the family.
Then we'd have to go with Judith.
Judith.
I'm not saying Judas like Mike Tyson. I'm saying you betray me, Judith.
How many people are just named Jude? Is it just Jude Law?
I have a good high school buddy who has a son named Jude.
I don't hate
baby
that name.
boy. It's a good name.
This is unrelated, kind of adjacent. I asked you two this question the other day. I had a couple of
Jed. I like Jed.
Jed Clampett.
The Titans have a Jeb on the staff. Anyway, I asked the two of you because a couple of mine that I've been friends with for 100 years FaceTimed me the other day to tell me that they were pregnant, and that was a weird experience because I didn't know how to react. Like obviously I had to fake some level of it. Not that I'm not excited for them, but
you sounds like you're not.
Yeah, it sounds like you.
I just didn't know.
Literally, just said you had to fake excitement.
Why are you FaceTiming me to tell me about that you're pregnant?
It's a very common
Looks like
thing.
Congratulations on the pregnancy. I'm glad I'll never have to talk to you again.
Jenna.
But is that a thing that people do with you two?
Stop bringing up normal human things and being like, what? This is something people do?
No, I'm saying you two, as adult males, do people often FaceTime you to tell you that people are having children?
I only have 2 or 3 friends that have had children.
My friends just FaceTime me to show me their poops. Look how big this one is.
This is what I'm saying. I feel like I'm this experience that
People tell me in person. Friends will announce it.
Well, sure, but I don't know. This felt like when women get engaged and then they FaceTime all their friends and then they post the screenshots of all the FaceTimes.
We did that. Well, we didn't post any screenshots, but we FaceTimed like everybody.
I felt like I was being screen recorded or that they were trying to get some kind of reaction out of me. And I was like, oh, I said the F word and I was like, that's cool. I can't hold it. I've never held a baby before.
Jeremy.
Did you ever did you hit him with oh, that's great. Who's the daddy?
No,
classic.
I didn't want to do that to Drew.
Loved that.
Classic. That's a classic.
Oh, Drew.
J-R-U-E.
I
I think the two of you may have met Mikkel and Drew at some point in time. Mikkel is one of my high school friends, and Drew is her wonderful husband. Anyway, I thought it was weird.
Hold on. Do we have some more J names?
Running out.
Jensen?
Jensen's not a first name.
Jansen?
Jaslyn? Oh, some of these are bad.
Just
Jasmine.
Straight up Jazz.
Jasmine is better than Jaslyn. What the hell is Jaslyn?
Jalen?
Of course.
And you can spell it 9,000 different ways.
Yep.
That's correct. Josiah?
Oh,
just give me the polls.
Very biblical.
That's a pun. Come on. Give me the sound. That's a good one.
Jabroni.
That's good for
Yeah. Oh, we haven't done this one in a while.
Yeah.
It's not an election year. You had to dust that one off.
Presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Did Cam Ward have a good rookie season? 85.6% say yes, he did.
I don't think that it was good, but I thought it was good relative to the other rookies.
What would you be willing to trade to acquire Mike Tomlin? Austin Huff says Mike McCoy. Michael says nothing, don't want him. Front Porch Junkie says nothing. Why won't the NFL teams go after some new blood from the college ranks? Why keep hiring from the same? Everybody's saying nothing. I wouldn't. Don't want him.
Titans fans turning their nose up at Mike Tomlin is not something I had on my bingo card today.
Who will start for the Vols in 2026 at quarterback? George McIntyre, Faison Brandon, or a transfer that is TBD? 51% say McIntyre. Second most votes to a transfer, 37.4%. Only 11% say the five-star freshman Faison Brandon.
Is that only because Heupel is prone to not start freshman quarterbacks? Like, do you think that's the main reason behind that vote?
Yeah, and I think most SEC head coaches are, not one to start true freshman quarterbacks.
Yeah, I just wonder, Kentucky had to be forced into it, right? With this Cutter Boley thing? Isn't he a freshman?
Yeah, Cutter Boley. He was backing up Zach Calzada. Florida didn't start DJ Lagway. Jared Curtis is expected to start at Vanderbilt, but that's more of an outlier.
Their quarterback is 37 years old.
And Vanderbilt's good enough to start their five-star quarterback year one. Are you guys not good enough to start your five-star quarterback year one?
It seems he's developing an inferiority complex where he's going out of his way to talk about the Tennessee basketball team first, not acknowledging the fact that Vanderbilt is confident enough in their abilities to start a true freshman quarterback, but Tennessee is not.
Jameson. Austin Stanley's son, Jameson. That's a good name. Who should be the NFL's Rookie of the Year?
Like the whiskey?
Yeah, but I think he spells it with an I, not an E.
Well, you could do just Jameis, too.
Yes.
How do they not have a kid who's named JJ?
JJ?
The jet plane.
Rookie of the Year, Tyler Shuck, Ted McMillan, Carson Schlesinger, or Ashton Genty. This is the Pepsi Rookie of the Year, so not specific to offense or defense. Majority of votes going to Ted McMillan, over 62%.
He was pretty consistently good all the way through. Shuck didn't start until week 8, week 9, something like that.
Did McMillan lead them in receiving?
I think he had a 1,000-yard season. I had to double check.
He did lead them in receiving.
He had I'm looking at postseason stats. 1,000-yard season, led the way, 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think Ted McMillan's fair. If you're talking about the best rookie quarterback, it's Shuck.
Judas, another J name.
That's how I feel about you two. That's going to do it for us today. We appreciate your participation as always. Primetime tonight with me and Robert. We'll see you there.